I guess we can fucking start it with a mic hit, you dick. Oh no, we're gonna keep going. Welcome to episode 4. I'm not restarting.
Take
this.
2.
I'm not restarting. It's too good. I'm laughing too much.
Welcome to episode 48 of the Nick and Toad Podcast.
That's so much more official than what we had. On today's episode, Manny Zepeda. Right? Yeah.
Is that your fucking name?
No, I know that's his last name, but like I didn't. There's those weird pronunciations that happen. Like people think that I get phone calls. They're like, "Hi, is Nicholas Roulet there?" I said, "No, he's not," and I hang up.
Is Nicholas Roulet there? Really got to hit that H.
You're funny today, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
You're real funny today.
I don't know why.
I don't know either.
Yeah,
it's been a good episode.
Yes.
Preface. Go for it.
Let's give these motherfuckers a rundown.
We talk a lot about social media. That's one of them
we
sure.
We hit social media.
I think that's like the main one. That's like an
hour.
We
talk about what it's like to support your friend's creative work.
Yeah.
And we obviously have a guest on, Manny, so we dive into a little background on Manny.
He's a photographer, and videographer.
If you've listened to Brandon Ponchke's episode, he is the other half of their duo.
Shit, you know what I didn't have him do, which I can just do right now in the intro, is all the plugs.
Yeah, go ahead, plug his stuff. I'll keep it going.
So Manny is part of Alienated Films. They are on YouTube. He's part of it with Brandon Ponchke, one of our past guests. He's the second half of it, or the first half, whichever
or the other
20%
or 80%.
He has his Instagrams, which are gonna pull those up in just a second here. They also have a podcast. By they, I mean Brandon Ponchke and Jake Queen, both past guests. ABK Pod is their Twitter. I don't think they have an Instagram.
It's for Alpha Beta Kappa Podcast.
Yes. His Instagram, his main Instagram is the main Manny, MAINE, Maine, like
the state.
Yes, or the band, the Maine.
Like the state.
It's okay. So the main
I talked
Manny,
to him. He definitely named it after the state.
and he has another one. I can't remember what it's called. It's Hank and Manny and Hank. That's the other one.
Yes.
So that's all. I believe that's everything. Right.
Manny dwells in the realm of photography and videography. Does creative work, short films, and weddings.
Yeah.
We get into that, and we get into how the conversation leads into kind of like the outside perspective of that.
Yeah. And you guys get to learn a lot about him in the beginning, and then we just kind of go into like opinions and different thought processes and everything.
Bullshit sprinkled all throughout the episode.
It was so fucking fun. I'm so excited for you guys to listen to this one. Like,
yeah, it's an enjoyable one.
The alcohol in me says you're welcome.
So without further ado, please help us introduce our guest, Manny Zepeda, as we start episode 48.
Now, I'm so proud of you.
Dude. Yay!
Yes! Welcome to the Nick and Toad Podcast. That was good. Again, I'm always fucking stoked on it.
I want that fucking dumb podcast. I like it.
It's fucking good shit. That was so good.
Dude, this is the best fucking thing we've ever done.
1, 2, 3. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to
this
the
one's
shit
gonna
show.
be a fucking nightmare.
I haven't seen anyone mess up yet, so I wanted to do it.
Jesus.
What the fuck, dude?
I watched Nick put his hands up, and so I put mine up to sync up with him, and then looked over to Manny to sync up with Manny. And as I'm trying to sync up with both, get neither of you.
You got dead fucking center.
1, 2, 3.
I wish Manny's was just a little bit later than what it was actually supposed to be.
You can't even.
I didn't even do that right,
Manny.
I can't even mess up right.
You can't even fuck up right.
Yeah, you can't.
And that is why it was the perfect fuck up.
There you go.
Like I started it and I'm not even like fully prepared. Like I didn't get comfortable or anything.
Well, we have our script.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're off, buddy. Take 2.
Manny, I have one question for you that I wanted to jump right into because I don't know if I've ever
Nick tiene
actually
una
asked you.
pregunta para Manny.
Oh,
¿Qué?
pregúntamele. Pregúntamelo.
Tienes una pregunta
The
para Manny.
bathroom's outside, dude.
Oh, okay. I'll just,
Not in here.
Nick's like, I don't know where the fucking library is.
Don't shit in my room, please.
I'll do what I want. Pregúntamelo.
Oh, I don't know if I ever asked you, what got you into porn?
Got me into porn?
Yeah. No, what got you into photography? Like
Well,
what?
they're both kind of similar.
They have a similar story. Shit.
How did I get into photography? It was back in high school. So how does it read if I look both ways?
Just like rotate your head with
You
the
have to
mic.
face it directly.
Yeah.
And then,
Just bring it in. You sit comfortably wherever you want to fucking
Yeah,
sit.
nice.
You bring the mic closer to you. Do whatever you need to do.
Okay.
all right,
you're
Dr.
sitting.
Seuss.
All right. So it was in high school. There was a lot of bands that were like getting into like shows and stuff like that. So I wanted to I couldn't play any instruments. So I was like, what's my only other choice? I'm going to try to take some photos.
Groupie.
Yeah, I'll fuck everyone. so I was using my iPod for the beginning.
Oh no shit!
And I-
Like an iTouch.
Yeah, like it was.
shit.
I think it was like a 4 or 3 or whatever it was
We had the
around the
same
time.
life.
Yeah,
I loved that thing. I thought I was a fucking photographer.
He's like, yeah, you fuck everybody too.
that's what I still use. No, but I was. So I started taking it with the iPod 4, and then. Like he said, I thought it was so freaking good. I was like, this is perfect. This is it. This is what I want to do. Then I started going to more shows, and people with flashes and cameras came out. I'm like, oh, I'm shit. Yeah, these are not good.
And so, was it just? When did you end up buying your first camera? Like, how long did you fuck around with the iTouch before?
Then I got a new phone, and then I started using that for a little bit, and it was a little bit of an upgrade. But then, while I was at AVC, which is the college out here, I took computer engineer class or something like that, or something you learn with Adobe. One of those programs.
Yeah.
It's to build websites. There we go.
Yeah.
And I was learning that, and I did that for like a year and a half.
What grade was this?
This is once I was at AVC.
Oh, at AVC. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't pay attention, right? Okay.
I got distracted, dude. Fuck you. At least I'm catching up. Go ahead.
Yeah. So at AVC, and I was taking those classes for a year and a half around there, and then it was just getting super boring. And then at this point, I was like, "What else can I do?"
Yeah.
And I kept taking photos at shows every now and then. I was like, maybe I'll just kind of pursue this, see what I can do with that. So I switched my major that second year going in. And then I told my dad what I wanted to do. And he bought me my T3i that I had at that time.
Damn, that's dope.
Yeah, I'm super grateful for that because that's what literally started it.
Yeah.
If I was still working off whatever I had, I probably wouldn't have went that route.
Yeah.
But he got me the T3i. And then I did that photography class. And then a year or 2 later, I started taking the video class.
And what year did you take the photography class? Like, what year is this now?
This is year 2.
No, I know, but like what year? Actual like 20.
Oh. I mean, this was like I graduated in 13 from high school.
Yes.
So 2 years. I think it was like,
2015, somewhere in there.
It must be 2015.
Okay. So you're at like 4 years working with cameras.
Yeah.
You old ass man.
Yeah, I know. My back hurts so bad.
It's so weird to
Nick's
say.
knees hurt.
It's so weird to say, and I always fuck around with Brandon and say this, but like back in college.
Back in the old
It's
days.
such a weird fucking sentence.
Oh,
'cause,
back
like,
at the frat house.
Yeah. Even though none of us graduated.
it's weird to think like you're 24, right?
Yes.
Okay, so like we're 24, but if you think about, especially in the fields that we're in, fields, like weddings and all that different shit. Like we do a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And do a lot of projects and meet a lot of people, and then you're like, oh shit, I'm 24. I haven't even like really. You're just kind of starting life
Right.
in your 20s. It's nuts.
No, it's so weird. And even saying it now, like when back in fucking college, 2015. That's what 4 years now,
and
almost
4
5.
years, like that feels longer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts.
We only recently started doing the weddings like a year ago or 2, or maybe 2.
So you were fucking around with phone cameras and iPhone or iTouches.
iPhone. I even had a little one of those point and shoots for like 6 months.
Yeah,
That's when I graduated to the T3i.
Is that kind of why you edit on phones?
It's probably big. That's where I started.
Probably, like,
for the most
the
part.
reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see you do that constantly, and I always am just so fucking curious as to how you do that without like losing your mind with how small everything
Right.
is.
Well, recently, at the beginning of this year, I got an iPad, so it's
Yeah.
at least bigger.
Yeah, I
for
saw that. And you take that everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for the most part. That's how I started. So it was photography first, but then I fell in love with video more.
Yeah,
So that's what I wanted.
you
to
and
do more.
Brandon, for everybody listening, this is Manny, the second part of Alienated.
Mm-hmm.
And he does most of the video.
Most of the work, yeah, 80% of the fucking
He's
work.
gonna fuck you up.
Alienated Films.
Yeah, this is episode Brandon Ponchke. This is their husbands.
Yes.
Yes.
The whole
fighting.
joke of 80-20, who does more work. You do all the
More
camera.
work.
You do all the more work.
You do all like the shots, right? For
Yeah.
the video, but he does all the directing
Talking
and
about it.
the talking about the pointing of the fingers and telling you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah, for the most part.
He does some of the shots though, right?
Yeah.
Or is it
That sounded genuine.
he helps a lot.
You're like holding him from behind like a guy showing a pretty girl a golf swing. You're like, and you click this. Yeah, he does some of the shots.
because when it comes down to the ideas, like this is one thing I don't think I've even talked to you guys about. Like you guys come up with the ideas together, right?
Yeah.
And then he does like the setup and getting everything kind of like ready. And
Yeah, kinda
you're
so-
obviously part of that as well. And then he just tells you like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing and so on and so forth. You shoot it. And then you guys, I know that you guys switch off on editing. Like you guys have your specific jobs that you do.
Yeah, we both do different things on that video.
Yeah. So like he colors or you color? I forget.
I color.
You color.
Yeah, for the most part. And he also will come in and do
Add
like
his-
fine touches, or if he has suggestions, he'll also do that too, because
Does he do the cuts or do you?
I do the cuts.
Okay.
80%. No, he has a good sense of direction, because I'm always lost with that. I know how to shoot, but he's very like, he knows what he wants, and he's very firm with it. I'll
Yeah.
kind of switch things up every now and then.
Yeah.
But if he knows it's good, he'll keep it that way.
No, it's why you guys
Which is-
work so well.
Yeah, that's what I need, because or else
Yeah.
I'd be all over
It was
the
actually
place.
one of the things that I had kind of talked to you guys about, talked to Brandon about, was just like, how do you work together on projects, you two, and like, how do you maintain it? Because Caleb and I, like we've explained in past episodes, hit a few bumps along the road, and it was just like, how do you get past that? And it's just like, you just figure it out.
Right.
There's no right or wrong way to do anything. You kind of just have to figure it out or you stop. And whereas like you and Brandon, like you said, you have the shooting and the ideas that need to be done, but he does the direction, and I don't know what the ideas, who comes up with the ideas more so if it's just you guys shooting the shit half the time.
That's kind of how it starts. We get together and then we'll kind of start talking, and maybe we'll sit there for like in silence for like maybe a good like 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll just randomly say something.
Yeah.
If it sucks, everyone's
You like
quiet
plant
again.
a seed and then build off.
Yeah,
of it.
that's exactly what we do. I'll say one word, or he says a word, or kind of an idea, then we build off of it.
Yeah.
Jake also, he was on the podcast as well. He helps us a lot too with writing.
Okay,
and stuff
so
like
is
that.
he like partial with Alienated now? Like I never actually asked you guys about that either, because I remember he is to some extent helping you guys with a lot of it, because he acts in
Yeah.
the majority of the stuff that you guys need actors for and whatnot. But
I mean, he's a big component.
okay,
It's me and Brandon are Alienated Films,
Yes.
but he's a very big like
yeah, contributor,
contributor to
Yeah.
it. Same with Austin. He helps with
all the sound and
now
whatnot.
with sound and stuff like that. He did our most recent film.
Yeah.
He did all the sound.
Yeah.
We just gave it to him like literally blank, and he added everything to it.
Yeah, which I don't know if you've seen it, but they put out the like haunted Halloween type.
It was a one shot. It was for a contest that we entered.
It rings a
think,
bell.
like-
I think I did on Twitter.
For anybody that
Yeah, I think
doesn't know
we
what
put
a
it on
one
Twitter.
shot is, it's literally from start to finish. There's not a single cut. It's just moving components through the entire thing. If you haven't seen a one shot, go look up. What's that movie? I don't know.
Birdman.
Haunting a Hill House.
Hunting Hill House
That's
does
a
it
good
too.
one. That's a good
I
one.
totally forgot about
I don't
that.
know if you can watch a video on it as much as you can read about it.
You can. I think there's behind the scenes for that.
Yeah, there's behind
Okay.
the scenes
Yeah.
videos on YouTube.
And then what's the
Oh,
one
God,
where
that's so
like
good.
Jim Carrey's on the TV and that woman has the animals and they're like moving fucking couches and whatnot? It's this whole
moving couches.
it's a movie, it's a scene that they did, and it's literally one guy with his camera
Mm-hmm.
and he's standing in a room and he's just going in circles, and every time that something is not happening in front of the screen, everything behind him, like I'm talking
changing.
couches.
It's not Ace Ventura, is it? Because that's the only one with
No,
animals.
no,
like
no,
a big
no. No, definitely not that.
Pretty sure Jim Carrey's only done one movie.
Yeah, it's just Ace Ventura.
So it's 100% chance.
Yeah,
that it's
you're
Ace
wrong.
Ventura.
No, I forget what it is, but it's just look up One Shot if you want to know what that looks like. But I know you guys put that out, and I really dig that. I thought it was fucking dope. I think
Appreciate
you
it.
guys did a really good job with that.
It was for a contest. It was
Right.
for this guy named Jacob Owens. I guess last year he did his first horror contest because he's a big horror fan, and everyone started submitting stuff. I think it grew like 2 times. I think last year there was like 200 submissions, and this year he switched it up to a one shot. There's 400 submissions.
shit.
And luckily we were top 25.
Yeah, you guys
then-
did get top 25.
God, yeah, it was so like nerve wracking that day because he chose the 25, and then the day after they were gonna choose the top 3, and they had like cash prizes and other like film stuff that you
I'm
can
assuming
win.
because you guys didn't post about it, you didn't make top 3, right?
What do you mean?
Did you make top 3 or no?
No,
Okay.
no. There were some really good people with high productions,
Yeah.
like big teams.
And what was he giving away?
There were cash prizes for the top 3. Then like there'll be like some preset plugins and sound effects and all that kind of stuff.
Being top 25, did you get anything out of it, or was it just like a pat
No.
on the back?
Just a pat on the back.
No, I mean that's
Very
fucking-
short lived, but
It's short
he
lived.
said for the video portion of this.
But honestly, like, yeah, right. But that's still fucking dope to be top 25 of 400 plus submissions.
Yeah.
That's big.
Oh yeah, we were super excited when we
Yeah.
found that out, dude. I was at work. Brandon texted me.
Yeah.
I cannot even focus at work
I think
anymore.
I FaceTimed him right at
God,
the
it was
time he
so
had
good.
found out, and
Yeah.
he told me about it, and he was like, Manny, I can't tell him he's at work, but I know he's gonna be fucking stoked about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's cool. You guys also, like, was it Alienated? I know there's a lot that I'm gonna be going into the background, Caleb, that you don't know just because I've known these guys for so long. So I'll,
Dude,
like bring
there are episodes where I'm doing that same thing. So
okay.
do not trip.
Cool. So, back when you guys, I don't even know if it was Alienated, when you made the fucking film with Brandon and Jordan in that like beaten down old abandoned house. I don't know if that was even considered Alienated.
Mhm.
It was super fucking old. Brandon's probably listening to this knowing what I'm talking about. But, what was the first video that you guys did? Do you remember?
The first video we ever did.
As Alienated?
Ooh. I think I could be wrong, but it was a Super Bowl commercial they were doing.
Oh shit!
Doritos.
Yeah, with Jordan and the Doritos.
Yeah.
That
I think I saw that.
you might have.
Yeah, that was
I
so
think I
old.
saw that.
When
God.
you look back at shit like that, what do you like? What do you feel?
Every now and then we do go back because we keep everything on our channel.
Yeah,
It's a good sense of like how much we've grown.
yeah,
So I know I dig all our old shit, even though it sucks. Like a lot of lighting sucks, a lot of like camera work and all that. We're still fairly new, even working with each other.
yeah.
We didn't really, because in high school I didn't know them. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know any of the guys I hang out with now.
Yeah.
So I met them all after high school.
Mm-hmm.
So we were still kind of learning each other as well. And now over time we do.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Like when I look back at some of my work, mostly with photography, because video was short lived and now back up again. That's where I see my growth is in photography. But with the video, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's older stuff is you can tell like it's improved over time. But you guys have a fucking catalog of stuff.
yeah, you can see this. It's a small progression, but over time at this point now it's all
And then
big.
you
We know
guys
what we're
did
doing.
the one a week, right, for that whole year.
Yeah.
Which
Those
was
were
fucking
more
nuts.
those were like vlogs for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most part. We did have a couple like short films, but we had a goal at the beginning of the year. I don't know if you know. We did a video and we released it every Saturday for a whole year. So I don't know how many videos that would be, but
I think Brandon touched on that.
yeah. So yeah, we did that, and it helped for maybe the vlog portion a little bit, but we didn't do for the most part cinematics.
Yeah.
Because we would try to do a film, and then that week we're like, okay, but we don't have a video out yet. That needs to be out tomorrow. We can't film out like
And
a
you guys
short.
would be doing shit like day before.
Yeah.
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 Like
That's
filming
ridiculous.
and editing.
Who
Yeah.
procrastinates that much?
Not us.
Never.
Yeah. But I mean, at some points you just got to get it out.
Yeah.
Yep. As long as you get content out. That's
Yeah.
all that
It's
matters,
cool now
baby.
because now that the fucking face, dude. I can't wait for video. People are going to be in for a surprise for video one. Do we want to say when or no?
No.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, they're gonna really be in it for a surprise on how fucking ugly we are.
Yeah.
They're like, oh god, they
oh
just turn
Jesus!
off.
I've been listening to these fucking troglodytes.
Troglodytes. They're like, yeah, this podcast has 100 episodes. They put out one episode of video, and then I saw the comments, and they stopped putting out video.
Like
By the
one
way,
video up.
big fan of your hair now. We're getting there.
Thank you. Yeah,
We're getting there.
it's getting there.
It
What
just-
happened?
I buzzed it off. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I had a buzz for a while, but I'm growing it back out.
just-
I got a haircut yesterday, so it looks longer.
It
on
looks
top.
good. It looks good.
Thank you.
But
I
I
was looking at pictures of me from my 21st birthday, and my hair was fucking long. It was like your length, and yeah, it'll be there again.
I think that's right now your best look.
Yeah, and I'll shave it off.
I think the,
Yeah,
the buzz
please
was.
do.
I like the buzz a lot.
I think if you had a beard, it would help.
I'm whatever about it. I kind of like looking like a racist person.
That's exactly it, though.
I kind of like looking like Sid from Toy Story. It's all right.
Dude, people were clowning
I
you.
know.
Really
man.
for the buzz cut?
No, someone posted, J-Hots posted a GIF of me like the other day, and people were on my head
yeah, I saw
about
that.
it.
Dude, they were thrashing this man to the point
Yeah.
where he
People
was.
were calling me the fucking villain from The Incredibles. I forget that
Now that I
fucker's
think
name.
about it, dude, some of the faces you made actually look like him.
And this is the thing too. You can see me like at first. I'm looking at myself in this GIF, and I'm like, okay, I look kind of good in this beginning of this GIF, right? And then you see me look at the camera and go, huh? And I think it was Dylan going like, like do something stupid or say some shit or whatever. And so I go full like dumbass in front of the camera, and I'm acting like a goof.
You did your fucking hand
like
thing.
yeah, the little hand in front of the camera, and then I start laughing about it, and that's where the GIF cuts. And yeah, no, it could have cut out like 3/4 of that GIF, and I would have been like, "Damn, I look good." But
Yeah.
no, I had to look like
the rest
fucking.
of it just made it so much worse.
Not as
Yeah.
many people saw it though. This is very shareable.
Yeah, exactly. And that, and then Sid from Toy Story. This one girl was like, like, oh, like you look like the kid Sid from Toy Story. And I was like, okay. And she was like, stop, I meant it as a compliment. I was like, fucking how? I was like, in what world is someone like, oh, you know who he looks like?
Didn't you
Sid
buy
from
a
Toy Story.
Didn't you buy a fuck? Didn't you buy a skull shirt?
No, I shaved my head, and my friend thought I looked so much like Sid from Toy Story that he went out of his way to then make me a Sid shirt.
Fuck. Yeah.
And I wore it to the Toy Story 4 premiere.
Oh, that's
So I went in costume, quote unquote.
Oh shit. Yeah, you do really look like him.
Yeah, but whatever. Sexy Sid, that's my whole
Sexy Sid. Wearing like just very skimpy looking clothes. and
Dude,
whatnot.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna shave my head right before Halloween, and then I'm gonna wear like a crop
Tassels.
top with.
Yes.
So yeah, a crop top with the skull on it, and if I flip it up, I have tassels underneath.
And no, I was gonna say just wear the crop top, but like a dick tassel.
Dick tassel.
Just one dick tassel.
Just like assless chaps.
They're like, who are you supposed to be at this
Sexy
point?
Sid.
I'm Sexy Sid. Want to come rescue my Woody?
So to get back to it, your hair looks really good.
Oh, thank you.
So Manny, you and I seem to have the same problem with
Me.
posting. Yes, with Caleb. With posting. Why do you think that is for you? Posting up your work. Like, I'll go on a fucking
Damn, Nick, we're ready to turn this into a fucking therapy session.
No, I just
So you seem to have this problem.
Yes, I do.
no, because like it's one of those things that, okay, for example, we have run in, me and Caleb, speaking to Caleb, we have run into multiple problems along the way with this, where we've gotten very close to not being able to post on a Monday, like recording
yeah.
a Sunday night
Yeah, at like midnight.
at midnight, like, and then I have to post it up immediately.
Mhm.
You start to realize that even though you do have a schedule, for some reason you just become more lenient.
Mhm.
It just happens over time. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, okay, I have all these photos. I'll start posting them in like a burst. And then you kind of go on this quick, depending on who you are. I mean, if you have this workflow down and this work ethic that's untouchable, then you're good. But I have a horrible time with posting. I mean, absolutely terrible. This is the only project I've ever been this consistent with.
And we are killing it right now.
Yes, we are. We're getting
We are
real
on
close to
top
50.
of shit right now.
Yeah, and it's getting good. Like it's not going anywhere. So like with posting, like I've been saying with my photos, where I'll post 9, 12 in a row, and then I don't think I've posted since like April. And I know like that happens to you, where you have literally tweeted like, "Oh, I'm gonna post this up on a Monday," and then
I don't.
it's Monday and you don't, and like
And
some
then
of
it's
us
2018.
and some of us get on your case about it. You know, we try to keep each other accountable for our work. Why do you think that is that you like start to fall off?
I think I get too ambitious, and I get a certain amount of photos done, and then I'm like, cool, this will maybe be a push.
Yeah.
But then I work Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Not that that's like, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
But right when I get out of work, sometimes it's like, I don't want to edit.
Yeah.
And then I'll do something else, and then I totally forget. And then the next day comes, damn, I never posted that yesterday, or I totally forgot. So for the most part, I feel like that's what it is. On the weekends, if I shoot, I don't usually edit after I shoot because I like to sit in it. I don't like to rush the edit or anything.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think it's just work. And it shouldn't be an issue, but it is.
No, I get it.
I just don't want to do shit after work sometimes. And sometimes I am super motivated. And that's probably when I tweet. And then I'm like editing that night and stuff like that. But
I always look at people that can post consistently. Like I said, like we're doing really well with the podcast. Why can't I continue that into my other work? And so rather than asking, it's just something that came into my head recently. It's like, rather than asking people how they have the work ethic that they do to post all the time and work all the time, ask the people that don't, like, that fall off just like you do, like what, improvements they think they can make, or why they fall off and whatnot. And I mean, work schedules are definitely a thing. People get off of work. You don't want to go straight back to work.
Yeah.
I mean,
and sometimes I do. That's the thing. Like after work, I go do alienated stuff. And then at that point, my day's just gone.
Yeah, like you have all different components of your life.
Yeah.
Like you have your friends, you have your family, you have your work, you have your outside work. It's so many different things. I don't know. I was just mostly curious, like if you knew the reasons why, and if there was like a way that you feel like you can approach it to fix it.
Oh yeah. Even recently, I was talking to my manager at work, and we're doing this on, I think, Fridays. I get out earlier just because I want to have time to actually do what I want to do. Because working 9 to 5 every single day gets repetitive, and like I said, gets me tired. Yeah. So it's just, I needed some different like schedule.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start moving stuff around, and kind of, now that I get off early on Fridays, I have that at least a little bit of room before I go, like either go edit with Brandon or something like that.
Yeah.
Or go out or something.
Yeah.
To interject.
No, go for it. Please. I'm sorry. I've been fucking going.
Don't worry about it. There was this video I came across on YouTube, and it spoke on that whole like creative post block almost, rather than writer's block. And it like really resonated with me more than most normal things do. And he was talking mainly about the difference between motion and action, and how motion is like that ambition that you were talking about that you get right off the bat, where you're like super motivated and you're like making all these plans, and you're like organizing these things and categorizing actions you want to take and blah, blah, blah. And it feels like you're getting a lot done. And then there's action, which is actually executing the things that you planned and like putting in the work and like getting like nose to the grindstone type thing. And they talked about how like you have to be able in your brain to tell the difference between motion and action, because both of them in your head feel like you're getting shit done, but only one of them is you actually getting shit done. So you could sit here and play with motion and plan shit and put shit on the table and give out ideas and really get something like bubbling up.
And then sit on your bed and go, I did so much today.
And then kick back and be like, oh, what a productive day.
And then you look back last week and you're like, wait,
and
what
then
the fuck?
you look at your creative page online, you didn't post shit. And so it's this like illusion that both of them feel like you're being productive, like you're getting shit done, but only one of them is you actually getting shit done. And once you're able to, in your head, compartmentalize those two, know that one is motion and the other one is action, and you can have as much motion in the world as you want, and you could feel great and just have like this huge like high off of this like momentum that you have. But in the end of the day, you didn't actually do anything. And once you differentiate those two, then it's much easier to translate motion into action, because you're like, okay, this is motion. This isn't actually me doing anything. It feels good. It's awesome. But once you get into action, you're like, okay, I'm actually getting shit done. And
so motion is just more so like the process of talking about what you need to do
Yeah,
in action.
it's the process of talking about it, of coming up with the ideas, of brainstorming and planning and everything like that. But you still haven't done anything.
Yeah.
And although you are doing something in the realm of creativity and outputting content, you haven't done anything.
See, what I run into a lot of the time is I'm constantly doing things. Like when it comes to motion and action, I am caught in like this middle ground where there is motion, but I do follow it up with the action. It's just I don't post at all. But
Right, so you have like a bunch of photos.
I have so much shit that I could post.
Motherfucker. I was talking about that with, I think it was Joel and Springer. No, Danny and Springer today. I was like, and because I think Springer brought up, he's like, dude, Nick's photos he posted on Twitter are like super good. And I was like, yeah, I like them a lot. and then I was like, but they're of spring and it's in November.
For people listening, I took photos in Utah in April.
And they're fantastic.
Thank you. And posted them in November.
So if you're looking forward to Nick's pictures he took this month, get ready for the greatest May post you've ever seen.
It's just fall leaves
like, so what
in summertime.
Spooky season in June.
So one of the things that I'm trying to do now with all the things that I have on my plate with my job, podcast, photo, video, and I think that's it. Oh, and the band.
I was just like, darn
Sorry, yeah, the fucking band. With all those different things, I was like, okay, now I have 5 outlets. When I can't do one, go to the next. And then once I've gone through each step and I can't add to any of them, run out of ideas, my brain's just fried, go on a run, go work out, watch a show, relax, get away from all of that so I can actually have my break and then come back to it refreshed. Did that today, finished up some photos that I edited and stoked about that. More recently, we went to that creative meetup. It was photographers, videographers, models, literally anybody that does art could show up. We fucking could have gone as the podcast and just talk to people.
Just laid out a fucking table.
And it was just like everybody hanging out, shooting together. And at first it was kind of weird, but then it those are just meeting people. And then it was so sick at the end.
Yeah.
It was so much fucking fun. And then that video I put out that I named Coda was, again, people listening, put out a cinematic, like 1.5 minute video of the event that we went to. I realized halfway through, I'm like, oh shit, I can make like a quick short film about this, and mostly of a dog, and just made it as smooth and like simple transitions as I could.
Relaxation vibe.
And gave like the birds chirping and dog barking, all this different shit.
Native American whistles.
And the reason I went for that instead of editing the photos, because my first instinct when I got home was upload photos, start editing them, was Brandon and Manny both beat me to posting. And when I see people's posts, it not only I'll be honest, like to some extent it defeats me. Like in my,
you're like, who's gonna care about third place?
It's not. Yeah, it's kind of that. It's not.
Nick, wait till I bust out that iPod 4 again. I'm gonna make you post every fucking month.
You're never releasing again.
Here are my portrait photos.
It's not so much people's reactions, but it's more so like, oh, now I've seen them. I don't have the same like urge to get them out, right? Which to me that shouldn't matter, but it's a weakness that I have. I'm working on, but. I also have a big issue when I see people's photos, I start to mimic them. Like I saw your guys' edits and I was like, oh, fuck. Like you guys hit the golden hour with the brown mixed in. It was just like a good mixture of the colors.
What's the fucking saying? It's something is the greatest most flattery or greatest compliment about like mimicry.
Mimicking is the greatest form of flattery or something like that?
Yeah, something along
flattery.
those lines.
Is that
that
really a
works.
word?
I was about to say, Manny, you got any input on this?
Hold on, I can look that up.
That's
but
fine.
I saw your guys' photos and I went, oh,
That's a good way to go about it.
mimic.
Then you just uploaded our photos.
Oh, save image.
Oh, imitation
Good day
is
at
the
the meet.
sincerest. Yeah,
Yeah.
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. Jesus Christ, I didn't know it goes that far.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a second half.
Okay,
I like
so
yours
imitation
better.
is the
Yeah.
sincerest
The
form of
broken.
flattery. But saw your guys' photos and I was like, fuck, that's done. I was like, oh, but the video is not. And I jumped on that as fast as I could and got it out. And I was like, oh shit, that feels good to get something done. Like what? I think it was 4 or 5 days after we had gone.
Yeah.
So
And now it's not one of those things where it's eating away at the back of your mind, like, I never actually scratch posted about that.
like when did we go to Yosemite?
Oh,
April.
Fuck you.
yeah, I don't remember.
Like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still putting out that vlog soon.
Oh yeah, I forgot you vlogged that.
Yeah, and, dude, like you piss me off, Nick, because
Why?
because I fucking love your photography and I don't ever get to see it.
Yeah, I know. Okay.
Like you I'll come over and you'll be like, dude, look at this edit I fucking killed. And you like show me, I'm like, fuck, that's dope. Twitter would love to see that. Instagram would love to see that. Your website would love to see that.
So I started taking into consideration the things that you said that I should do. And it was like, make your most recent work your pin thing on your profile. So I pinned the Coda video.
Good.
With photography, I started paying attention. Like, mostly my problem is if I'm not studying it, I don't follow it. With podcasts, we started a podcast because we both listened to podcasts. I started studying how to do it. I looked into like the best possible shit, had my brother do the sound for us. We have the presets ready. It was like, okay, cool. We're good. Sounds great. We're good to go. Vlogs I fell out of because I stopped watching them. When I'm not paying attention to something, I don't follow up with it. I am basically inspired constantly to do the things that I do. Nothing I do is original. It's all just
you just
following.
need this like fucking like donut feed into your mouth of inspiration, and as soon as it stops, the inspiration is dead.
So I started following like Brandon's idea of looking into like photographers on Twitter and then how people post. You get 4 photos for Twitter and find the most flat, like complimenting photos to each other and
Aesthetically
post it up.
pleasing.
And I was like, this building on its own,
You did such a good job of that.
the building on its own, not the one through the flowers, but just by itself. I was like, by itself, it's okay. But with everything else, it looks really good.
The pink and the blue.
Yeah.
It's great.
And so I stuck with that. The one thing that I'm going to be doing now, and then I can actually get back to you on this, of different ideas for posting on Instagram, is for a little while, and probably still to some extent, I'm deciding. I was doing 3 posts at a time. So like 3 different photos from the photo shoot that I did. However, that would cause me to not only burn out on that strip of photos. Like if I had 6, 9, 10 great photos I wanted to share, I could only do 3. And I was like,
Oh, okay.
I'm not liking that because I do it in strips because Instagram's in 3s.
Yeah.
So that way it looks cohesive. Everything makes sense. Because otherwise, if you want a very cohesive looking timeline, when people go to your actual profile and see the grid, you have to edit accordingly to every other photo. That's fucking frustrating.
Yeah, you could, like, rather than hold yourself back because you're only going to do 3. I know a lot of, and I'm sure this is common knowledge to you guys, but a lot of photographers and professional Instagrammers keep a bank of photos, and so if they don't have anything to post that week, then they go back to the 10 great photos they had and then use the next 3 that they didn't get to post.
Yeah, and that's not a bad idea. It's just a matter of like I didn't have enough work to separate them, and I didn't want them that close to each other. That was my whole idea, was to like, okay, make sure that if you're looking at a full grid, like say it's 5 posts that you can see in total, that
the same shoot isn't
7,
in there.
yeah.
Well, this is the thing. Is it better to post nothing or is it better to post something?
Hey, go fuck yourself.
See, so that's where I fell into, because I wanted to do a feed for the most part.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't constant with it, so I wouldn't upload. Now I just kind of
Just
upload
post.
it every now and whatever I have.
And
I'll
it's
just
smart.
post.
It's honestly smart, and it's what I need to do. So
It's much easier to get the ball rolling or keep the ball rolling rather than get the ball rolling.
I just see people's grids, and I'm like, fuck, that looks dope. So I
Yeah.
came up with an idea.
But you're
And I was
comparing
like,
yourself to fucking like
No. It's not so much comparing as it is like I really want that. I
Right, comparing.
genuinely want that.
Yeah,
I look at
right,
it.
comparing. Yeah.
It's not because comparing is going like, oh, it doesn't look as good. No, I'm not saying that. I look at theirs and go, oh, that's something I want to do. I've been wanting to do that for a while. That's not comparing.
Wanting to do more than what I'm doing.
No, because what I'm doing, I eventually stopped liking. That's why I stopped posting. I didn't want to do it in 3s anymore. So I started trying to think about what I want to do. And when I finally saw something that I liked, like I liked the idea of a grid that looks cohesive, everything makes sense. I was like, oh shit, okay, cool. That's what I want to do next. I didn't stop posting because other people were doing better. I stopped posting because I didn't know what I wanted to do next. That's it. So the inspiration that I got came from fuck you, don't look at Manny, looking to laugh again because you looked over and he was staring at me and I was like, yeah, you missed out on that one.
I was gonna look, but I kept laughing.
Everything
Everything he said, I was gonna look over, but
I hate both of you.
bust it up.
So I fell out of posting because it wasn't to my liking anymore. I was just like, I just don't want to do this.
Right.
So I came up with, if I want to make that grid that way, but still, I didn't want to just stick to one color for every photo that I did.
That's a little too much.
Right. So what I was thinking was through the seasons, this was an idea that, of course, drum roll, got from Peter McKinnon, was through the seasons you change the colors and have them transition as they go. So it's a very consistent thing that you have to do, but I'm getting better at it with like actually editing. Is like for summer, you figure out the colors for summer and you edit accordingly. And then you have that until it transitions into like next season and next season. And so everything just kind of lines up. As you scroll, you'll see this cool transition.
Color gradient.
Yeah.
Yes. I was like, but I don't want to stick, like I said, to one color for every photo.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, but if I take, let's say, photo set 1, 2, and 3, and I want to post photos from each one, what I do is say there's 7 photos from each. I post up all 7 photos in a collective, how you can do that, how you can have 7 posts that you can, on one single post, you can just kind of scroll by. But the first one is an edit according to the season color that I need to do. The second one is that same photo, but the actual edit that I wanted to do.
So you have like a cover photo.
Yes, it's exactly that. It's cover photos through the whole thing. And I was like, that's a good fucking idea. Because then I won't actually miss out on the edits that I want to do. And then I can actually still have the cover photo and have the grid that I want to have.
And do you have this planned already? Like you already know when you're
I'm
going to do
starting.
this and
I'm starting to like get the idea. I'm genuinely like looking into color schemes and how that's going to work.
Right.
And I want to start getting into like, it's coming up on winter, so it's now cooler tones and colder looks and stuff like that.
Right. So that goes
It's
back
gonna be
to
really hard to make those 4th of July pictures a cooler tone.
You're really good at words and coming back to them, you fucking son of a bitch.
back to what he said.
Yeah.
This goes to like to motion and action.
Yeah,
like you
Motion
said earlier.
versus action.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So that goes back to that. So now you actually have to
Yeah.
get the action.
I take a lot of precaution, but I don't talk about it a lot because then everybody's like, oh, it's just motion. I'm like, yes, it's motion because I need to like study it getting up to the point.
Well, motion's necessary.
Right,
but
of course.
But it can fool you into feeling like it's the whole thing.
But how many times have you explained to people that there's motion happening in your head and they're like, yeah, but you just need to do action. It's like, no, sometimes you just need to think a little bit more on an idea before you go and just jump straight into it because you could fuck it up.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying is like, that's why I don't speak about it as much because it's instant gratification. It's getting posts out. It's content. It's all of those things. And people are like, it needs to happen now. It's like, no, I need some time. Podcast took 2 or 3 months of building before we started it. And then now it is what it is. You know, the first episode 0, like we lost that, but people didn't know that.
One day we will find it.
No, it's so far fucking gone in the abyss, dude.
How is it gone again?
Huh?
How is
Nick
it gone?
deleted it.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Essentially, that's ended that. So
Edward Snowden has it.
that's really funny. I'm listening to his episode now, and it is
Right
so
now?
good.
So
Yeah,
You're on the
currently as
podcast.
we're it's in my ear.
Okay.
So fuck you. What was I? Oh yeah. So when you record on Audition through Adobe, it records into a separate file called recorded.
Right.
Whatever the fuck you do. And I didn't know you had to keep that because I was new to the program. I just thought it stayed in the program.
Yeah.
I literally didn't realize that was a folder. So I just deleted all the excess folders. When you know how there's Adobe backup programs or backup.
There's like autosave and stuff.
Yeah,
like
autosave.
That. Yeah.
I thought it was part of that. And I deleted it. So I went into the program and it was all gray, but the boxes were there. And I was like, click. And it didn't work. And I was like, click. Hey, Caleb. And yeah, so
fucked up.
I did fuck up. That was my fuck up.
It's okay. Episode 0, we literally talked about like racism. So like, I mean,
Well, we can do that right now.
yeah, because we were like, oh, imagine like how times were back in the day. And they're like, if we had to time travel and talk to people back in the day, if they knew what they were doing wrong, all that
The
shit.
fact that you remember that, dude, that was months ago.
Yeah. So yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I can tell who cares more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely
80-20.
There you go.
80-20. 80-20. Hey, dude, get out of my house. That joke that you and Brandon have is so fucking good because that works. But always in my head, I will always be 50-50 with him, no matter who does it, because I can't make that joke because it like without Caleb, and this is not bullshit at all, the podcast would not have the amount of listeners that it has. Genuinely. It just wouldn't. Because
He uses me for exposure.
I did.
Right.
No,
No, I get it.
I straight up, like, I thought about between my brother and Caleb. I was like, I want to start a podcast with both of them. And that didn't work out with my brother. So I was like, I'll start it with Caleb.
Also, you chose him over your brother. Go on.
Blood is nothing.
Right.
Oh my God.
It means nothing.
So the reason I ended up wanting to do this with Caleb was because our conversations, like initially, literally, that's the only reason was
Yeah, they used to be great.
yeah.
Yeah,
now
you
they're
said
just
initially.
absolutely trash.
Now they're forced once a week.
Now you
No,
have
but-
to
but
talk
as
only
it-
on the podcast.
As it went, I realized like, oh, okay, yeah, I could have done this on my own, like easily, but it wouldn't have been as good. The conversations wouldn't have been as good. And on top of that, it wouldn't have reached as many people without Tub. Like I
Yeah.
have the equipment, I have the place that we do it, but he has the reach, he has the knowledge of how to get to people. He has
I was trying to say smart things.
you go
things people
I'm the
like.
brains. You know how viral things go. You know what people like to see. You have ideas for the podcast coming up that when you called me and you told me, I was like, that's fucking funny. Like, that's good and we're going to do it.
Yes.
Whereas, like, all of mine lays with, like, creativity in the serious tone of, like, this is what we can make it look like aesthetically, and this is how cameras can do.
Nick's like, have you ever heard of this great fucking color called gray? Because, like, we could make everything built around that.
Are we, what color curtains are we doing?
Gray.
Gray.
I don't know, something on the gray scale.
Oh shit! Sorry, I went
We're
on
not
a
afraid
really
to get risky.
really long tangent. So you just post whenever you want to post, right?
For the most part, yeah. I throughout the week, maybe I have an idea every now and then, but it's whenever I want. I don't want it to become a job.
Yeah.
Like on
Oh,
my own
God,
side,
no.
because I do have like, obviously me and Brandon have the Alienated stuff, and we get paid for the stuff we do. So I don't want to add on to my end
Yeah.
and like.
I forget if
Burn
I
out that
asked
way.
both of you or if I was talking to just Brandon about it, but the wedding business isn't something you want to stay in forever, right? Or is it something you actually thoroughly enjoy and would?
I mean,
this fucking squeaky chair, I swear to God.
you have the best podcast chair.
I do.
For the most part, they're cool, and when we're editing, they're gorgeous. Obviously, like every time I'm there, it's like the happiest day.
Yeah.
Everyone's happy, and it's fun. But I just don't. They get so repetitive. Now it's just copy and paste, and I hate that.
Yeah.
The reason I got into this is because every photo is different, every video is different, ideas are different, all that. Weddings is literally copy and paste.
Yeah. And people can say, like, mix it up. You can only mix it up so much because they have a schedule that they
Yeah.
have to follow. So it's like, we want romantics at sunset,
Yeah.
like everybody else. And it's like, yeah, because that's the best fucking time to do it.
Could you do our portraits midday? I really want my forehead to cast a shadow on my nose.
And it's hard. It's hard to mix it up because it's like sometimes you even get put in the same fucking locations, and then you're like, oh, now I'm just gonna mimic everything I did last time.
Here,
It
like
looked
I
good.
can
No,
still
yeah.
see the imprint in the gravel
Yeah,
where I
can
put
you
my
stand
tripod.
there.
and this sounds really good for people listening that are like, oh, maybe I want them to no, because they're like, oh, cool, I'm gonna have the same shit as everybody else. They're depending on like the attitudes of people and like their vibes that they put out, and like if they want super cutesy looking stuff or if they want more serious, that can change it up.
Yeah.
But when you run into the same couple, sometimes at the same place, which I have done with my job, you have to recreate the same shit. There's nothing you can do about it.
We just did our most recent wedding. We did, because now we're like this family. We did a wedding I think last year, and we came back to them because they referred to us to their brother,
Ah,
and so they loved our work, and we met these guys prior, so we already knew who they were, and we chopped it up. We were having a good time with them, but it is a different venue, so that's the only things that kind of change. For the most part, like you said, it is a schedule. You can't change that.
yeah.
Every wedding has a formula. Every wedding has times. All that. You're gonna shoot the cake. You're gonna shoot the money dance. You're gonna shoot the first dances. Like you know what you're gonna get
every
yourself
single time.
into. Right.
Like there are times I forget to look at the schedule because I'm just like, I know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Exactly. I already know
Until-
what I'm gonna do.
There's like a religion that comes in, and then that switches it up because it's like, oh, we have these specific dances and some of these things. I had one wedding where everything was almost backwards. Like the dancing came before.
Like
Like
got married
the-
at the end.
not
Bride in a
necessarily
tux.
like
After they're drunk, there's I do.
no, but like they got ready and then they did their ceremony was even kind of late too. But there was like dancing in times where there shouldn't have been, and first dances were super late, and speeches came and they were broken up all over. And I was like, "Oh shit! I actually need to look at the schedule."
Right.
It kind of excited me to not know what I was doing right away.
Yeah, see, stuff like that's cool.
Question for you guys, since you've both been around so many weddings and now know the schedule like the back of your hand. Will this make you guys at your weddings follow the same procedure or switch it up?
So I'll let you go first because I have my answer all
You do?
ready.
Oh, you don't? You have
No,
it
I
ready?
do.
Yeah,
I
go
do.
ahead because I don't know. I've never been asked that.
For my wedding, there are some things you can't get around. Obviously, you have to get ready. So, like, getting ready happens in the beginning. The ceremony is something that ends up having to happen after you get ready, just due to the fact that like everyone's
Well, that's like the
makeup.
centerpiece of the
Of
wedding,
course.
essentially.
When it comes to all that other stuff, like garter and bouquet and the cake cutting and all, I actually find myself more fond of weddings that don't have that stuff. And I don't know yet if that's because that's what I like and dislike, or
It's what you've
Because
accumulated over time.
it's just easier to film actually.
Ah.
Yeah.
You're like, I just don't know where I'm going to fit the human sacrifice.
Oh my god. No, because like when you don't have to film those things, there's a lot more room to film other things that are happening throughout the wedding itself. You know, photo booths, people doing their own stuff. Sometimes there's like random stuff set up in corners where people are playing games, and that's kind of fun. So it's like, I want at least my wedding, how I see it, to be more interactive with the people there. People aren't just sitting. It's like, you know, listen to whatever speeches just to be respectful to the people speaking. But for the most part, you don't need to dance. Go fucking play all the games that we set up. Go play all the different ideas.
Please.
Look at all the fucking art, like the different shit that's all around. But as for like getting away from, I mean,
Monotony.
It
Yeah.
depends on who I marry too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Nah,
I'm not
fuck
gonna-
him. It's all you, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But it has
Just marry Manny and you guys can be on the same page.
let's do it.
the other really quick side note, and then you can go ahead if you have your idea
Yeah.
ready, is when I go to weddings as a guest, it's a fucking disaster for me because I am just sitting there picking apart everything. I went to my buddy Pete's wedding.
Guess whose invite is getting revoked?
No. When I say picking apart, not picking apart like they screwed up. It's more of I can't help but say the things that I know that they need to do. So it's like, no, never. I literally have never gone to a wedding and gone, oh, this looks really weird. No, it's everybody.
Looks tacky.
They're like, do
it's-
you take this man? And Nick's like, you have to say I do at this part.
That's kind of how it is, but not during the ceremony. My brother, I went to our buddy Pete's wedding, and my brothers were the best men because he couldn't choose between my twin brothers because they're the same
a
closeness
threesome.
and friends. So he made them best men. What'd you say?
Instead of threesome.
I love that you repeated it and he wasn't going to.
I was gonna let that one slide. That was funny.
So, when my brothers went up for their speeches, one of them, they were both fucking nervous as hell.
Shared the mic.
But they,
They just talked at the same time, saying different things.
they kept fucking chaos. But like they kept pulling the mic away, and in the background, and I ended up being the guy I never wanted to be. I was like, pull the mic closer. Like I couldn't help myself because
You talk like Ronnie Radke sings. Pull the mic closer.
that guy throws microphone stands at people's heads at a show. But yeah, anyway, it was just like some stuff like that where I'd see like people lined up, or if like the bridesmaids and groomsmen weren't getting in line to take the photos, I'd be like, "Hey guys, can I fucking get photos?" I'm not the photographer, but that's my nature. Is it? I was like, I just need to get drunk. I need to not. I need to
get
not be
drunk.
here right now.
That's how I feel like when I'm working weddings.
Really?
I need to get drunk. Yeah.
For
Would you
what
do a
reason? Alienated Films just starts to go downhill.
Would you do a destination weddings?
Would I?
Yeah.
Like for my own or
for yourself, yeah. After
fuck
doing
yeah.
so,
If I could afford that, fuck yeah.
because I'm in the same boat now doing all these. I definitely want to go out somewhere like Gord. Like when we did the Yosemite was cool too.
That was cool.
Like going out and then you get not as big as a people.
Yeah.
Everyone that actually cares is gonna go, obviously.
Yeah.
So it just kind of makes everything more condensed, and it's I feel
I actually really like
way
that
better.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this point, if you let's just say you do it where your whole family is, everyone's gonna go. People you don't even talk to, the kids are gonna go. A destination thing is like your friends. If they want to go, they'll go. Family that wants to go, they'll go. For a destination wedding, not your whole family's gonna go.
Yeah.
Just the ones that care, obviously. So it kind of makes everything. It
Just
kind
the
of
ones that don't fucking suck.
yeah. As bad as that sounds, I was like, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes everything smaller, and I think it's better.
I like that idea because for the destination weddings that I have seen where they go and have their wedding, but they come back and like a week or 2 weeks later, they have a party. And they just play the video for the people sitting there and everyone's just hanging out. I did a wedding where they went to, I think like Jamaica. I believe it was Jamaica. And they had their wedding out there. They filmed the whole video so that they could play just like the I do and then the cheering.
Right.
And then they basically did like a grand entrance where they walked in. All their friends and family that didn't go that were there clapped. Everyone had a good time. They had an In-N-Out truck and everybody was dressed fancy and drank wine and ate In-N-Out. And I was like,
Oh, I want that.
see, and it
I
sounds
want that so bad.
and it sounds really nice. However, destination weddings are money.
Oh,
Yeah,
They're
that's
expensive as fuck. Like
bet.
they're not the normal expensive.
They're
It's like double the price.
Yeah, I bet.
Well, how much are you guys getting for these podcasts?
Anybody listening want to just contribute? He said, "How much are you getting for this podcast?"
Oh, money.
Yeah, big money. No, but it would be cool to do that. I'd be
Yeah.
I worry about the day that my wedding comes and like for instance like my family and Danny's family get to see like how everyone is, like how all my friends are when they get fucking plastered and aren't holding back.
Yeah, because they won't be. For
to
sure.
some extent, minus a few. The people that I'm thinking about
Oh.
hold themselves very well.
Well, yes, of course, and you've met some of my family. You know, some of them will probably encourage antics, but just overall, like,
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a fucking.
it's gonna be a shit show.
It's a nightmare. It's an
excited.
actual nightmare. Especially
God.
like from what I know with because like your family's
think
a little,
Joel's birthday, but bigger and more judgment on the outside.
your family's a little strict, right?
Yeah.
Danny's family is just
This is the thing. Danny's family actually emulates my family quite closely in a
Really?
sense that her close family is strict, and then her extended family is like rad and like super
Oh,
laid
okay.
back.
Okay.
And same thing with my family with, you know, a few
Yeah,
seeds
yeah.
here and there sewn in. But yeah, overall, it's just like the people that matter most are the
I
most
honestly
judgmental.
thought more of the outside family from both ends would be like way
Stricter?
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I mean like if you're going linear, like up the generations, then yeah, like my grandparents are like, you know, they're old, so you know how old people are.
Old people.
And same thing with her side. But with like her cousins I've met, they're fucking dope. Like
Yeah.
a couple of them have like sleeves of tattoos and they just like, you know, get drunk on the weekend and party and shit. And they're like in their 30s, 40s, and they're like dope.
See,
And
I
same
wouldn't
thing
have a
with my
problem with
family.
partying around like your grandma. She is so fucking
Yeah,
relaxed.
Nana's cool.
Nana's the shit.
We should throw her on an episode, dude.
Oh yeah?
That would be. I would
No.
I would be down.
I love her to death, but
We would just have to. We would just have to not.
She's
talk
like,
like
you guys want to
sailors.
crack some cold ones?
So, Nana, would you like a red wine or a white wine?
Beer.
You mind if I smoke in this bitch? I have to pee. 1, 2 beers or none?
None.
Bitch. 1, 2 beers or none?
None. I have
Double
to drive
bitch.
after this.
Yeah, same.
All
This
right.
is your house, Nick.
I'm gonna get drunk tonight. Fuck me.
Dude, maybe I will too, but later.
Well, later.
Yeah,
But
not
later.
with you.
Not with you. Someone fun.
Really fuck.
All right, Manny. Then there were 2. So I'm gonna go pee now.
And then I'll go talk to myself.
Yeah. Welcome to the Nick and Tub podcast without Nick or Tub. Hi, I'm Manny, your guest.
I just talk about whatever I want. So would you do destination then after?
Dude, I want to. I wouldn't do something crazy. Like my cousins got married in one of the Notre Dame churches in France.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like when I say destination, like Yosemite was a destination. That's fairly close. Stuff like that, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, off the top of my head now, in November of 2019, as I'm saying this, because I don't know what year I'm getting married and what idea I'm going to have at that time, but to 22-year-old Caleb, a wedding in Big Sur would be fucking dope.
That would be dope.
It's local-ish enough to where it's still in the state. It's a destination, and it's, in my opinion, the prettiest place in our state. And so that would be where I would pick. And I think a good chunk of the people who I'd want to go would be able to make it.
Oh, yeah.
And it would look fucking great. I don't know how much it would cost, but...
See, not as much like the France shit.
Oh,
But-
fuck no.
So like stuff like that, like the Yosemite, those outdoor ones, that's what I want to do now after doing those compared to like the venues and stuff like that. Because those ones just feel, it feels homey. Like even though we were in Yosemite surrounded about like, I think they had like 2 other weddings going on at the same time. It just felt homey for some reason. Because there's
like that whole like log cabin cozy feel.
Yeah, exactly. So after experiencing those, now I want to do something like that. Because I grew up in a whole like Catholic church, and that's where I figured my shit would be. Now I don't consider myself Catholic. I don't believe in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Sue me.
Yeah, sue me.
So those values changed over time.
Yeah,
and now
yeah.
it just I've always wanted to do now the log cabin type feel. It just
Dude.
and especially now after doing these weddings, that's exactly what I want to do.
I think stuff like that's super cool.
Yeah.
And nice.
God.
Right. in the
Now
fucking
chug
light.
it.
Yeah, like my cousins who got married, I could actually ask. I should ask like my cousin Kim, her husband. He's been an actor in like a ton of like martial arts movies, and he's like one of like there's a martial art called Kenpo, and it's, I believe, either the martial art that Bruce Lee made or he was a master of it.
Oh, okay.
But regardless, my cousin-in-law was trained by the same guy that was Bruce Lee's master.
That's sick.
Yeah. And he travels around the world opening up dojos and like teaching his like craft.
Yeah.
And he's like this huge fucking dude and used to act in movies and super interesting guy. So I don't know if he'd be down, it'd be fucking crazy. But he comes from money. She is an entrepreneur, does her own shit. They both live in Vegas. Like they used to have like she used to have like 3 different houses, like just killing it.
So they're fine. They're doing okay.
Yeah, they met and got married and went off to France and the Notre Dame
Did that wedding.
Cathedral and got married out there. And so nothing like that. But,
Yeah.
To kind of dive a little bit into your podcast, sir, ABK.
Alpha Beta Podcast. I am
Alpha
Manny.
Beta?
I'm the Alpha. Is that what it said?
No,
Alpha, yeah, you said Alpha Beta Podcast.
Fuck. Alpha Beta Kappa.
Kappa. Here,
Kappa.
let me say it for him. It's the Alpha Beta Kappa Podcast.
Fuck. Yes.
So you're 1/3 of it with Jake and
We've
Brandon.
officially had all 3 of them on.
Yes, we have. So
look at that.
officially,
So we
ABK
are
has-
now.
You
have swallowed
the
the
Alpha Beta Kappa. You're hard. We're slowly consuming podcasts. We're getting Jordan and Cameron on. We're
Yeah,
gonna swallow
literally.
there. We're just gonna take everybody down. But how is that? I'm like 7 episodes behind.
That's Nick's way of telling you, I'm not going to listen
No,
anymore.
He said,
I
"I won't
am
listen."
actually. I genuinely am. I was actually just talking to Alex about this. Alex that was on. I just said like I was consuming way too much information at some point, and I think that's why I was hitting a lot of roadblocks and why I was hitting a lot of like stress points where I just couldn't take shit in anymore. My brain was just overloaded. So I'm 10 or 14 episodes behind Joe Rogan. Like
That's my thing. I don't try to keep up and listen to every episode. I scroll through, see what I like, listen to that, and then find the next one I like.
That's where I fuck up.
Yeah, because if it's like, oh yeah, we're having on like the world's most popular like daycare sitter, and I'm like,
Sick.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't feel like listening to that one, so I don't.
I just think everybody brings on is fucking interesting.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I've listened to ones that I wasn't planning on listening to, and have been great.
But I get and I realized it was a problem when I would get excited when there was somebody that was on that I would be listening to and would stop because I wasn't interested, and I'd get excited that I got to stop, and I was like, oh, that's a problem.
It feels like a job.
Yeah, so it was just me overloading on information with theirs, your mom's house, Chris D'Elia's, fucking your guys's. I was trying to keep up with Hangover Hangouts, listen to new music, do my photos. It was just like I need to just relax and
Continue as I now go pee.
So with yours, how is it going?
It's going good. We release every other week. So it's so we do 2 a month. We did it that way just so we didn't get burned out. We were talking about doing the one a weeks, and when we were figuring out our schedule, we just didn't want it to become a job or like stressful and like, oh shit, we have to do a podcast this week. Once we finish one, we're just okay. Now the next one isn't until 2 weeks.
Yeah,
we have time to either that time now, like come up with new stuff to talk about because we have a lot more time to come up with more information and more to talk about.
Yeah, that and like you guys set your goals, so you have more time to complete your goals on top of that. I think when you have a schedule period, like how we have one a week, just having that schedule is nice. When you start switching it up, when we were at 2 a week and then went to 1 a week, it was like just changing up anything can get fucking stressful really fast. Are you guys going to be doing 1 a week? Because I think it was during one of the episodes you guys mentioned it, like you said, where it was going to be 1 a week. Is that still in talks or no?
We were, I don't think it's in much of talks. We were going to, our thing was doing one just randomly.
Yeah.
So our schedule would be
the same.
One every other week, but randomly we'll give you guys something.
If you have the time.
If we have the time or if we want to, that day we have something to talk about. We recorded, I think, so there's already 2 that have been lost just randomly.
No bullshit?
Yeah.
Like recent ones?
I think like, I want to say last month.
No shit.
Yeah, so we had to like reshoot or redo one. The other one was, so this one was going to be like a regular scheduled one, and we were going to release it. Something happened, so we had to redo it.
Yeah.
There was one that we were just going to throw out, like this is the random one that we're going to send you guys. We recorded it. It was a good podcast. It was a very one topic thing.
Yeah.
So I think it was when the that video came out of the school shooting, and then it was the commercial.
Yeah, fuck.
So that came out. So that day we recorded a podcast because we wanted to talk about it. That one, something got messed up with the audio or something like that. So we never got to release it. But since it wasn't a scheduled one, we just never redid it.
Yeah.
But that's where it doesn't get stressful.
Yeah.
So like, okay, we fucked up on this one, but it was just going to be a random one. So we don't have to redo it tomorrow. We don't have to figure out schedules and shit like that. So
I think because you guys are still doing this for you, right?
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, we're doing this for other people. We want to make this into something. Like if it grows into, you're doing if it grows into something cool. If it doesn't, cool. Like,
yeah.
Okay. I think we were in like a mixture of that where it was, we want to do this for fun and we want to do this for us and we don't care if people listen. But at the same time, it would like, there was almost a little bit more push to make it into something where it was like, oh, maybe we can make something out of this.
Right.
And in the future, for sure, turn it into something. But right away, I mean, there's no.
Yeah. It changes up when you like started off and you're like, okay, we're doing this for fun. We're doing this because we know we love doing this. And, shocker, we fucking do. And, but then,
Jesus,
God damn! I thought you were going to projectile vomit all over the wall. Anyway,
These fucking beers, dude. These beers are probably the only beers that make me burp this much.
Yeah, these things are nice. They're great burping beers.
Shout out Golden Road, sponsor us, please. Thanks, bye.
But yeah, talking anyway about how we just want to do this for us, Nicholas.
Golden Road Box.
Money would be nice so we can buy the things we want to buy.
Oh, I know. But anyway, we do it because we love doing it. But you can't just sit here and then like try to turn a blind eye to the fact that like 150 people listen every time. And like, although, this is a thing that, we chose to do personally, once you see that a good chunk of people are engaged with us and are a part of this ride now, you can't help but think like, okay, it's not just now me and Nick. It's not just us two. We're officially a part of like this like group of people who are all a part of this podcast. And so now we have to kind of like take them into consideration when we make shit.
Yeah, because we have people that literally, no bullshit, at least 10 of those people that are like, this is part of my Monday.
Literally.
This is now part of my Monday.
I'd say there's a ton of people.
I'd say I'm giving 10 as
No, I'm not trying to change your number. I'm saying like there's a ton of people who like just in general, we are a part of their everyday or like every week we're a part of their life, and they don't like tell us directly. So it goes completely past our knowledge. But in reality, we're probably very unaware of how many people we're like a part of every week. And we do our best to really, really avoid like the idea of like pandering or like crowd pleasing.
Right.
Like we want to stick to us and what we know and what we love. And so we're always super hesitant to like jump on an idea that we know would be super pleasing to others, because we want to go, okay, first checkpoint is this something we want to do?
Like a topic?
Like a topic, like an idea, a concept, a different form of an episode, anything. Is this something we want to do? Checkpoint 1. And if that checks, then the next checkpoint is this something we think people would like to listen to?
Right.
But we never want to get to the point where our priorities flip those two.
Right.
And we go, okay, first priority is, are people going to like it?
Yeah.
And then second priority is, are we going to enjoy it? So we do our best to really avoid that. But you have to find that, happy medium of being able to take both the crowd of people listening and the people making the content into account.
Which, how much do you guys on your podcast look into that shit versus just like, we just do this literally
we
for
don't give a
us?
fuck about about our listeners.
Yeah, fuck them.
Fuck them.
Oh shit!
Nick's like, I'm like 5 episodes behind. Manny's like, you were listening?
Yeah. I didn't even know we were still putting these up.
Yeah, we actually stopped posting them because we're like, fuck you guys.
Because I know to some extent you guys fucking goddamn with the jokes. I know to some extent, you guys. Hello? Are you okay? Oh, you're
Continue.
He's super relaxed.
He just slid all the way down his chair. God, I can't wait for fucking videos. I don't have to
Nick
say this
doesn't
shit
have to
anymore.
be the fucking Morgan Freeman narrator for every fucking action.
So I
that
can just
happens.
be like,
And the fly lands on
if
the
you
wall.
guys are listening to the audio and you want to see what we're talking about, there's video now. So anyway, I know that
No, it's just going to switch over to Nick going, for the people who aren't watching video, Nick, he just slid into the chair.
Just slid it.
you
No,
know
he took
you're
off his
not
pants.
fucking wrong. I'm probably gonna do that.
You better fucking not.
I know that you guys, to some extent, were actually getting like responses from people on their goals. For anybody listening that doesn't know their podcast, at the end of every podcast, they complete goals and set goals. They talk about the goals that they had set in the last podcast, and if they completed them during that week, and if they don't, they donate $20 to $20 to any charity of their choosing. And for every goal they do complete, that goal just gets knocked off, and then they it's set one per week. They build up over time. If you don't complete them, they just what is the word I'm looking for?
Accumulate?
There you go. Accumulate.
You're the brains.
This is why he has me
He
on
really
the
is the
podcast.
fucking brains. This isn't a joke.
joking.
Like,
joking.
No, whatever. So the point, he's the brains. I'm just super emotional.
Feelings.
Nick is just randomly crying right now for some reason.
Oh shit, this is so much fun. So then after it accumulates, they just have to constantly complete them and so on and so forth. You guys were getting people that were sending you like, oh, I started to set goals, like I've completed them and whatnot. Do you still get the same amount of interactions?
It's fallen off, obviously, like most things
everything
do.
does.
Everything gets a little hype, but then
Everything will die in a heat death.
and then everything just dies off.
Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
That shit got a howl out of you.
I'm listening. This fucking dickhead.
Let's stop laughing into the mic.
Nothing tickles Nick's funny bone like nihilism.
You're not wrong. But it's fallen off.
What was the question?
This is why he picks
fuck.
no beer.
Man. It gets funnier the more I drink. Fuck, what did I
Dude.
I
So do
asked you.
people still
people,
reach out to you?
yes.
Okay, so like I said, for the most part, at the beginning, it was super high. We're getting a couple.
Yeah.
Now it's died off a little bit. People are still making goals. We still hear it every now and then. We hear back that people are listening.
Just pull it closer to you.
Ah,
Just pull the mic closer. No. Don't adjust yourself. Pull the mic closer to you.
oh God. So
Our listeners right now.
sorry. Yeah, for the earphone listeners. Yeah, it died off over time.
Yeah.
And we still get those occasional like this was my goal, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Brandon tried to get me into that shit.
The what?
The goal setting.
Do the goals.
And he's just like, why not set goals? And I was like, because
Nick's
I'm
like, I really don't like the idea of charity.
charity. I mean, really,
That was
that's
your idea, actually. You right? You pitched the whole.
I gave
the
you
whole,
guys
You should do the
'cause
charity thing.
You're like, we don't know what to do as a repercussion. I was like, lose money.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking just lose money, but for
Well,
a
that
good
throws
reason.
out the whole bondage idea.
Yeah, that sucks.
There
No,
goes the
but I
cool
gave-
punishment.
They were trying to figure out an idea of what to do, and I had learned at a VidCon seminar that I went to that this guy set up basically a bot that was connected between charities and his bank account.
Oh, I saw that.
And if he didn't complete a goal, the bot, and he didn't check it in as completed, the bot would take, I think he put like $50 or $100 per
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
It like he did, I think it was like 2 podcasts a week or a podcast a week with 2 videos, some shit like that. Whatever he didn't do, it would rip money out of his account and donate it. Stop fucking. This is the episode where Caleb just gives up. He's not talking enough, so he's just shutting down. This man is.
I'm having a great time.
But yeah, so I gave you guys the idea due to that inspiration.
That's for your Instagram.
Oh, thank you. That could actually be useful. We'll post it as like a 2-post kind of thing, like a swipe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what ABK does.
Speaking of charities, have you guys seen and or donated to and or heard of the Mr. Beast 20 million trees?
I saw that,
thing?
and I have not donated.
I've not, but that's probably because I have to donate 40 already.
Oh shit!
I've
we
already
should do
I've already
that.
donated 60. I have to donate
in
another
total?
40 now.
I set
No,
goals and then donate to charities.
I've already donated 60.
In total from the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah,
Okay.
but now I have to donate another 40.
Isn't Jake at like 100?
He was.
I think
he's
Brandon's
at
at, like,
100 again. So he's at. This is gonna be his 200th one.
Oh, dude.
You guys have all this motion, and then it just creates all this money going.
So
We're very giving.
so let me give you guys a preface on the whole idea. It's if you don't complete a goal, it's 20. That goal then gets renewed and it accumulates. Now you have 2 goals. The next week, if you don't complete those 2 goals, it's not 20 per group. It's 20 per thing you don't do.
Yeah.
then
So
you
if you have 4
very-
goals accumulated, then you have $80 you have to donate.
And then if you don't do those 4 the next week, it's 80. And if you didn't do the 5th, it's 100. So in a month, you have donated what, 260 or no, 180 fucking dollars? Like,
I don't know. I'm not going to do math.
whatever. The point being is that in a month, if you don't complete your goals, you can get upwards of like $180 a month that you're just donating to charity.
Welcome to the Alpha Beta Kappa Podcast. This is episode 42. We have declared goal bankruptcy. Our credit scores are shit, and we are back to 0.
So they start getting a
And
go.
for my next goal, visit space.
It's a fucking GoFundMe to help them donate to charity.
Please donate to our charities because we can't afford donating to charity.
Guys, just break the contract, break the goals. No.
I'm in debt.
But I contacted them one day because I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that's what they were doing. I thought it was if you donate, you can choose to redo that same goal that week or just get rid of the goal. No, they went the hard route. And so they started accumulating goals. And then one day I was listening and I think it was Manny owed like 40 or $60 and Brandon was getting on his case. Like, you need to fucking donate. Like, I did my 20 the day after. It's been almost a month, Manny. And so he finally donated, but I contacted all 3 of them. I said, hey, you guys, my idea, I didn't want you to become broke. And they're like, it's not broke. Like, it's every 2 weeks you're listening in consecutive order of episodes. I was like, I guess that's fair, but still, $100. What, Jake's at 200 now?
Yeah.
You guys are gonna gain so many listeners because you make the news. Because it's like
Three gentlemen from the ABK podcast have donated over $10,000 to charity.
And on another note, are now $10,000 in debt, and so they have a GoFundMe.
Hear their story here.
Donate to this GoFundMe. Oh god.
Oh shit, dude!
But
It's
is
such a good idea, though.
That keeps us accountable, because if you start a goal and then next week it's just done,
Yeah.
then that's not how goals work. So
What charities do you guys donate to?
we did
The music one.
yeah, there was a
Remember
music
that.
one for children in, I think it was Africa.
Okay.
And they were for the less fortunate, and then it donates to their creative field, because I want to do something, I mean, that
Yeah, fuck water, right?
yeah, fuck water. They need
They got
to learn
Jaden
how
Smith.
to play guitar. They need to start a band.
metal bands. But don't care if they're hydrated.
But, so that
When somebody says
Thinking
that,
back
you
on
know.
what he could have donated to.
oh, you're right.
Oh, sweet bongos. I want a
Just
drink.
like, fucking stupid. Just go to donate to water.
Such a good one.
This fucking podcast is so much fun.
You don't listen to, like, at least I don't hear about the creative fields as often.
Yeah.
So they also need that. They don't have that much funding towards their creative side to, like,
Yeah.
hey, this kid wants to do photos. Because I know there's a bunch of charities that, like, they'll once they get enough money, they'll start buying, like, these small cameras so these kids have
That's
something to
cool.
do, and so they're more creative. Finding them a way to maybe just even make their way out of that situation instead of giving them, like, all the other resources that they obviously need. But there is a bunch of charities already for that.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a good one for that Team Trees one. I totally forgot about that one. So maybe I'll donate that for you. That
I saw that and I was like, oh, it's only like $1 a tree, and I clicked on like the list of donations and people were throwing like $1, $5 at it. So I threw $3 at it, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I like
Did
this.
you see
That's a good contribution.
what happened with Elon Musk?
Throwing $1 million at
And
it?
then did you see who donated after him?
Jeffree Star.
I don't remember. If
Jeffree Star did 50,000.
yeah.
50,000. I know Elon Musk had the most, and then
Yeah.
somebody, I don't know.
Did someone top him?
Yeah.
1,000,001. They wanted the top spot.
Was it Mr. Beast?
No.
Because Mr. Beast did that for a couple people. Like some people threw in $5,000 and he'd throw like 5,001. He's like,
Yeah.
you're not taking my top spot.
And he just kept doing it. So, on the topic of Mr. Beast, do you know how that works with him?
What do you mean?
Like how he does
Gets all
what
that
he
money?
does?
Well, I know he gives out a shit ton of money. How he gets it, I'm assuming YouTube ads.
Literally that.
Yeah.
No. Sorry. The first one. Because he gives away money, there are companies, I read into it, there are companies that literally just give him money to give away.
That's awesome. I like that a
they
lot.
literally just do it because they know that
Because they need a tax write-off.
it's a tax write-off. No bullshit. It's a tax write-off for the company. It can, to some extent, be a tax write-off for him.
Yeah, I figured it would be.
Because you just keep handing it down.
Yeah.
But because he started giving away things, that's literally what
People
cost
started
companies-
giving him shit to give away.
from my understanding and what I read, and it comes from ad revenue, and that's where he makes his money. But most of the money he's given, he just gives away. He
That's
goes in
dope.
like Twitch streams, and
I've seen when he rates people's Twitch streams.
he just
It's so
he's like,
cool.
"Hey, do you want $5,000?" And they're like, "Who is?" And some people he'll just skip over because they're being rude.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, fuck off!" Like you're just. And he's like, "Oh, okay, I was really gonna give you $5,000. It's Mr. Beast, bye." And he left. And then like other people, like small streamers, he'll just drop $5,000 in their thing.
Yeah,
Just
that
be like, there you go.
or when he throws them subscribers.
Yeah,
Like he'll just
Yeah.
be like, oh, like, you know, you're a small streamer. You only have like 70 people who
Yeah.
subscribe to you. Here's 10,000.
It's a good fucking dude. He
It's
really
like,
is.
Whoa.
So with the tree thing, I want to just bring that up just to be sure. Holy fuck.
There's others.
Help us plant 20 million trees around the globe by January 1st of 2020. And right now they're at 13 million.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Damn.
Wait, number of trees for 20 million. Okay, yeah.
So
So they're at
anyone wants
13
to
million.
participate in that and be a part of it,
They're
spots
missing
are running out.
6,942,000 is how many trees they need.
Who's the top donator?
Jack Dorsey donated 350,000.
Jack Dorsey. Why can't I picture who the fuck that is?
He is the CEO of Twitter.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking
cool.
dope.
Okay, whoever Toby
Maguire.
Oh, the Shopify CEO.
Oh,
Elon Musk donated 1 million trees and Toby donated 1,000,001. Just so he could have the top spot. And
that's so dope.
Below Elon Musk is 250,000 trees from ELF Development A/S. Then you got Susan
from YouTube.
Wojcicki. I don't even know the fuck to say her last name. Then Jack Dorsey, Mr. Beast, and Alan Walker. Fucking Mr. Beast, dude. He had the top spot. Somebody donated 100,001, and he donated 100,002. Like, he just kept fucking upping people.
Yeah, dude.
It's cool. It's a cool thing to donate to. It's a cool charity to get into. UNICEF is also cool if you're ever on PayPal. UNICEF is partnered with PayPal, so you can just click the little $1 thing. You're going to get a lot of wasteful fucking mail, which is really annoying because you donate $1 and they send you every month or two, they send you like 2 or 3 letters. And it's like that's paper and postage that you paid for with the $1 that I gave you to stop. Just take the fucking money and stop.
Canceling it out.
It doesn't even make sense. But yeah, I really like the fact that you guys are still following up with that you guys are still doing the donations as much as fucking Jake has paid into it. Like, it does get annoying that you have to pay that, but because it's to a good cause, probably doesn't suck as much.
He doesn't, no. Because our other thing was give it to Austin, which is our producer.
I gave you guys that idea too.
Fuck that. Going straight to charity. Austin would have already had like a couple hundred from us.
So Austin is their producer, does everything for them. And I just had the idea of like, hey, maybe it's like a thank you. And they all hysterically laughed. And if you don't understand their relationship with Austin, it's anything that can help Austin can go fuck itself. That's
fucking gold.
It's so fucking funny.
Yeah, I was going to give Austin the $20, but I decided I was going to donate it to Jeff Bezos instead.
I'm going to go plant a tree. I'm going to give it to Elon Musk.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I think that's pretty fucking good.
We're good people over there.
Yeah, you guys are good people. I want to catch up because I saw Jake's post about episode 15, how he went hard.
Yeah, he cried.
Did he really?
Yeah, you can go listen to that, though. Go to the Alpha Beta Kappa Podcast on either iTunes or Spotify.
This is where Brandon kicks open the door because everybody but Brandon fucks it up for the most part, at least from what I know. Like, Brandon will say, like, you can listen to us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And anybody else that does it, like Manny just did.
You can listen to Spappo. You can listen to Optify. You can listen.
ABK is on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. You can find their Twitter
Podcasts.
at ABK Pod, ABK _ pod.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude, that's your guess is as good as mine.
Brandon does the intros and shit, dude.
I think,
I'm
okay,
not too
here's
sure.
actually a really good topic that we can get into that I want to throw Caleb's way first because you and I saw this. I don't know if you did.
to participate. Yes, you do.
You're going to drop the hard R word, dude?
The what? Whoa, where are we going?
So, no, Caleb, I have tried to refrain really fucking hard from like saying words that are just gonna upset.
Saying words that rhyme with petarded.
And so there was one day he just dropped it and I was like, no. Like we finally dipped into that, and since then he just, whenever it's casual, obviously.
Yeah, no, casually flipping around the word retarded. It has to be cash. Can't throw it around in a business setting, you know.
This is really fucking, like I've said it 3 times now. That's very fun. Do you retweet people's work just because they're friends, or only if you like the work that's there?
I love this fucking topic. There's a spectrum to it.
Retweet, like it, share it, whatever.
Support it, any of that. Yeah, there's a spectrum to it. So the more frequent of a person you are in my life, the closer I am to you, the more tolerance I have for poor work. In a sense that, like, the closer of a friend you are to me, I'm going to support you, even if it may not meet my standards of something I would consume. And then, you know, the further away you are from my life, then the less I'm going to tolerate. Like, so if you're someone I barely know, but the shit like you make, and we've met a couple of times, but the shit you make is just knock dead, just great, then I'll support it and put it out because it'll be easy for me to recommend. But if you're someone closer to me and I see your work and I'm like, okay, like, if I saw this on my timeline and I had no idea who this person is, would I retweet it? No. But it's because it's my friend and it's because I want to put it out there that I do. But then there's also a tolerance level to where like you have a friend who starts up their own creative field and they put something out and you're just like you're like you I'm watching. You're doing your thing.
Yeah.
And it also ranges. It doesn't just like, it's not like just like a loyalty thing too. Like I could have a friend who I've supported all of their work and then they put out something that I think is like some mid and I won't retweet it.
Yeah.
And then I could have a friend who like puts out a bunch of mid and then puts out something great. And I'm like, everyone look at this. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And so like there's a lot of factors that play a role into it, but that's the main idea is just like the closer you are to me, the more likely I'll support it. And the easier it is to support, so on and so forth.
Really quick, if you need to move the chair, scoot forward, whatever you need to do, dude. I don't know if you're trying to move around. Like I can see your feet trying to reach to put the.
No, I got it.
Okay.
I'm just very fidgety.
Do you have an answer to all of that yet?
I said it because we said on our podcast the most recent. Fuck.
No. Literally, pull it, pull it towards you.
Okay. Because Brandon tweeted that the other day, so we brought it up on our podcast last time, and I think I said that Nick's coming my way. He's adjusting the mic.
You have your.
For the most part, I do it just because, just so they get the exposure.
Yeah.
So when, especially because I'm in the field more, if my friends are taking out a photo or they have their new endeavors that they want to start up, I'll give them a retweet or a favor because, I mean, those are just a click of
literally a click. Yeah.
Yeah, literally a click. So might as well just send it out their way. So whenever I see it, I will. But I mean, for the most part, I think it's the same way. Because I think this is stuff you don't really think about when you're in it. So when you're on Twitter and you're scrolling by, maybe you won't retweet it, but you won't think about it.
Yeah.
So you just kind of scroll past it. So I haven't put much thought.
You don't think of like the real world implications on said person if you don't retweet their creative project. It also really depends on like how often that person is putting stuff out too. Like if your friends like for say like with a rapper and they're putting out like a song every week or every 2 weeks, like no, I'm probably not going to retweet every single one. But if like you put up a song like every month to 2 months and it's like more of a rare instance, then it adds that like scarcity to it. And then you're like, oh, cool. Like they haven't posted a song since August.
Right.
So like this one is, I like their stuff. They're my friend and I'm going to support them. So it's fine if I throw this out there. Cause you also like, I take into account, like I blow people's timelines up. Like I follow 1,000 people on Twitter. And so my timeline is constantly popping.
Yeah.
But a lot of people who I'm like friends with in real life, they follow like 70 people. And so if I retweet like 3 things within an hour, that is the only 3 things on their timeline. And so if I retweet this person's work, even though like I may not retweet it if I didn't know them personally, if I retweet it every single time they post, then I'm blowing this person up with this one of my friends' work. And if they are not a fan of it, then they're going to be like, oh my God, all he does is he blows up my timeline and I keep seeing like the stuff that I'm not like a fan of. And so I'm not going to do it. So I like to
literally one of the reasons I muted you like 2 years back.
I remember that. Yeah.
Cause like there's so much shit.
I see a lot and I share a lot.
Yeah.
And so I try to be like, that's in general though. I try not to retweet as much stuff as I could retweet just because I don't want to like blow people's timelines up. And so I kind of like am more mindful with what I share on Twitter just because of that factor. So if nobody else, like if I had like 10 followers and followed 10 people, I wouldn't give a fuck. I'd just fucking blow it up. But
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I guess kind of where I sit is, and it's one of the examples that it's all over the place, really. When people used to talk about Kanye West all the time, and this is kind of going in the direction you'll see, I don't like him as a person. Not that I know him, but just like the stuff that I see, I'm just like, it's annoying and I don't care and it's fucking way out there and it's just like shit I don't give a fuck about. His music's good though. So I constantly find myself torn. Like for a little bit, I didn't like him in general. Just I saw too much negative shit and that's not him. It's all the media. But I was like, I don't know. I'm not going to listen to his music if I don't like him as a person. And I couldn't figure out the balance between that, because like Attila is also one of those. I know it's all jokes, but back then I used to fucking hate them, because I was like, you're making a joke of the metal music that I love, and it's just kind of shitty that you're making all this money off of it while all these dudes that are actually trying are struggling. So it's this constant toss up, and as I get older, it constantly changes. But like with friends' work, I think it plays into like how consistent they are, what they're posting.
Yeah, their integrity with their work plays a huge role
Exactly.
too. Like,
Like,
if you're going to start up something and I have a feeling because you started up a million projects that this one's not going to continue, I'm not going to support it, because I'm
Exactly.
like, you're going to do what you did with the last 3 projects and just stop doing it.
Yeah. And we've kind of run into something, not something similar to somebody quitting, but somebody wanting to be on the podcast, and we were just like, we don't necessarily know if you're going to stick with your work.
We have had opportunities to get people on the podcast because of the creative work that they do, and we have to determine whether or not this is going to be an evergreen episode. Like, are we going to put this out and someone's going to come back 3 months later and they're going to catch up on our podcast and they're going to listen to your episode and they're going to go to your profile and you don't do the thing you said you did anymore?
What are their names?
And so I think when it comes down to like the majority of your work, for example, Manny, I will like or retweet or one or the other with your stuff, with Alienated stuff, definitely, just because like I know that you guys put a shit ton of time into Alienated stuff. When it comes down to like other people's, I can't even think of off the top of my head. Most of the time I just retweet it, because like you said, it's a fucking click of a finger. It doesn't do anything. Who gives a shit? Like, no one's going to sit there and be like, they retweeted this. No, fuck you. They're just going to scroll past it. But I don't know. I'm constantly torn with stuff where like I'll retweet it, but I'll quote tweet it if I'm like super fucking into it. Like Brandon, some of Brandon's edits. When you posted up that edit where Shelby was in the car with the thing, I was like, this is it. This is what you need to do. Like, this shit looks sick. And then there were a couple other edits where you did that. There are other things where everybody has hits and misses. Like your example of people that don't post a lot. I haven't posted on Twitter other than that fucking video in months. But I'm active on Twitter, so it's a little different. And I think all those different things come into play, depending on like if I'm also included in it, right? Where Brandon posted this really cool one where I was torn in half and I was separated through like wormholes essentially in the middle of the desert. That one was super dope. It looked really fucking cool. Yeah. And I went to the extent, because I was included in it, to share it as my story. And this is where a lot of things come into play with like stories and reposting stuff and stuff like that. Twitter, different. It's a timeline. Nobody gives a shit about that. For some reason with stories, I very rarely share things that other people are doing, because I know how people work, where they click on somebody's story and they're there for that person, right?
They have a mini memory of how your stories are.
Exactly my point.
And if they have this general stereotype that your stories fit into, they will either stop watching it or they will just click right through it.
Right. Where like, I know for a fact I get a shit ton of reactions from people when I post up the ridiculous shit where I'm screaming that I'm going to be late for work.
Those are fucking hilarious.
And people typically find those funny. So I know that the people that are going to respond to that aren't going to respond to me just reposting someone else's photo, or like I posted up today at Director's Vision something where it was Jim Carrey's face with the whole like face tracking thing over The Shining, the clip of it. It's fucking scary how good it is. It is absolutely, it actually looks better than Jack Nicholson. Jim Carrey's version looks like Jim Carrey should have done it.
They're getting way too good at that, man.
It's fucking scary. And I reposted that because it just like blew my mind of how insane that was. With that whole question, Brandon posted it up and it was like, you repost it because of the person, you repost it because of the art. And I clicked the art, and I have been thinking about that since I clicked it, because I was like, in the moment, that's what I thought. And now I'm like, but do I do it because I like the person?
I still would stand by that statement if I had to. I didn't see the poll, but that's probably what I would have picked too.
Let me see really quick. Keep going.
The reason is because, like, although you want to support your friends, the greater the content they put out quality-wise, the easier it is to share.
Yes.
For instance, Dylan put out a YouTube video the other day, and although I was in it, the video itself
was so fucking funny.
I'd say in my opinion, it was fucking hilarious. And so that, for instance, hit that level of quality for me that I would have shared it even if I didn't know him personally.
Right.
Like, I watched the video, I saw the clips he put up on social media, and they legitimately like made me laughing out loud at my phone funny. And so it was so easy for me to share it. It was like
It'd be
so
dumb if you
easy enough.
didn't.
It was so easy enough that like I took the extra step, the extra mile, and like quoted it and then posted under the quote like, this is some top tier stuff. Like, you guys have to watch this because this is fucking great.
Yeah.
And like, that's the thing too. Like, if someone makes that good, like just using that specific video Dylan made as the example, if someone makes something that you and your standard see as that fucking good, then it's almost coincidence that you're friends with them.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't even matter. It's
Right.
like, this is so good, and then I'm friends with them.
Yeah.
But there's a huge part of stuff that happens where it's like, I'm friends with somebody and this has a lot of potential and I can see where they're starting. And so I'm going to share it in hopes to like kind of keep them going, keep them motivated, show that I support them.
Right.
In a sense that like you see them, you've seen their progression over time and you see where they're at. Brandon is actually a perfect example of that. I wasn't a huge fan of his edits at the beginning, but I still would like support them. I'd like some,
Right.
I'd share some. And then as I watched him progress, it turned into that thing where it's like, I would retweet this even if
Right.
if I wasn't his friend. This is fucking fantastic. Like, this hits that almost bell, like the fair game where you hit the pallet like with the hammer and it shoots the little metal ball up and it hits the bell. It hits that level where you're like, this is so fucking sick that it doesn't matter if we're friends.
Yeah.
Like, this would be something that I would quote and be like, everyone look at this.
Yeah.
And so it just feels good when you watch your friends put out stuff.
He's progressed a lot. His
He
edits
has.
are sick as fuck.
Yeah.
One of my
I dig it.
favorites is his fucking map where the water's splashing
Yeah,
out of it.
dude.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, yo, what the fuck? Like, from your last post to this, like, his posts every so often, and he even talks about it, will kind of just do a roller coaster where it's like some of them hit really hard and some of them are just like, it was something that I had to put out.
Mhm.
That map one was top tier, dude. The water looks so fucking good.
You know, what's funny too is the last time we had him on, my favorite post that he did was his Spider-Man post.
Really?
You remember that?
That
Like, we
was
were sitting down and
actually-
talking about that. That was a while ago. Where he's at now compared to just where he was when we talked
Yeah.
on our episode with him is fucking staggeringly better and different. Like,
He does it every fucking day. He puts hours into that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and it shows. It definitely does not go wasted.
Yeah. So his tweet was, this has been something that I've been curious about for a while. Where do you stand? Number one, I share my friend's art even if I don't personally like it, simply because they are my friend. Two, even if it is a friend, if I don't like the art, I don't share it. Between 1 and 2, how do you think that they differ? So, like, number one, you share it because they're your friend. 2, you don't share it if you don't like it.
If I had to choose one, like to be, I would choose share it for the art.
Share it for the art.
Yeah, just because, like, to explain it, like, I don't like feel like just me sharing it on social media is a accurate description of how I feel about them pursuing a creative field.
Right.
If I was in person with them doing it in the process and witnessing it, I'd be like, this is so fucking sick that you're doing this. I'm so stoked to see what you can do and what you're going to do in the future and all of this. Like, please keep this going.
I think.
And they could post something up that I don't like.
How much crazier do you think it would be if you were someone who actually had, like, fame per se?
Had the disposal of exposing
Where-
someone's work to hundreds of thousands
it was
of people.
literally you click retweet and they take the fuck off. Like, that's it.
I've thought about that, and I think this is the thing. Let's say, for the sake of conversation, that this podcast grows to the point where we have that ability, where we can plug somebody's work and it exposes it to tens of thousands of people and puts them on.
Yeah.
I would be even stricter as to my standards of what I share and provide than I am now.
I think I would solely base it on what's your work ethic at that point. Genuinely, that would be it.
I wouldn't have a sole thing I base it off of. But
when I say solely, I mean as long as it's not, I would say a big majority, as long as it's not like fucking trash. And just because you post up trash, and when I say trash, I mean like stuff that just doesn't resonate with people, whether that's art, whether that's music, if you're talking about the lamest fucking shit in poetry, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, because I know there are people who have creative projects who've done it for a very long time that like I've had coworkers tell me about. Like they're like my buddy does a podcast and he's on episode 1,000 and he hasn't grown at all and they all suck.
And it's like, yeah, then change it the fuck up.
Exactly,
I've had that conversation time and time again. I have a different topic to get into as well, but I've had this conversation where it was like, if you're doing something for 5+ years and nothing has changed, whether that's growth, money, whatever, you need to change it the fuck up.
Definitely.
Like there's clearly something wrong with what you're doing. This is the point where it's what you're doing isn't working. A year in, 2 years in, you're kind of getting into like the murky waters of, is it just because it's new and people aren't buying into it, or is it just really not that good? And I mean, you
could be doing great work, but you could be in a dead field.
You're looking at people like Jeffree Star, where the band that I play with, they work for him. They genuinely do. There's 3 guys that work in 2 or 3 of the guys work in like the merch area, but it's like a sub branch of Jeffree Star, and
Interesting.
They don't directly work for him, but he signs all their checks.
That's crazy.
It's like a subgenre of his whole business and selling his merch and shit like that. But they've met him and they talk to him and they hang out with him. And Jeffree Star was trying to do this whole fucking thing. If anybody that doesn't know him, he is a
Get
dude,
out of your house.
he's a dude that decided to get into makeup, and he is one of the most interesting individuals out there. And
Definitely will catch you off guard the first time you see him if you don't know who he is.
The first time I saw him, he was in a black dress walking around this show, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? And that's when he wasn't doing much. And then he put out one lipstick. Bless you. One fucking lipstick. And it took off. And it was like, from that point forward, he just became a makeup guru. And now
because he was doing music before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing music, and that's what I think that's how he started off.
He almost
becoming
like gained
popular, right?
infamy.
Yeah. Infamy, exactly.
And then he turned his infamy into positive fame.
And nobody talks about that
riches,
shit.
literally.
Yeah. And nobody talks about it.
Yeah. That plays a whole ode to the idea of like there's no such thing as bad exposure.
Right.
Obviously there's exceptions.
Really quick before I get into like the next question that I want to talk to you guys about. They share 59% of people share because they're just friends with the people, and 41% won't share it if they don't like it.
That's solid.
And I was like, that's actually pretty close.
That makes sense too.
At one point it was 50-50.
That makes sense too, coming from a creative perspective, seeing who retweets your stuff and who doesn't. Like it's about, out of the people who you would think would retweet it, it's about half.
Now, granted, that was 37 people. So
yeah, but still, it's although small sample size of people who obviously are close to him and people we know.
Yeah,
it makes sense because you think, okay, the amount of people that like I think like that have talked to me about my stuff versus the amount of people that share my stuff, it's a difference, a noticeable difference, but it also could be just, hey, we're not meeting that person's standards yet, and so you have to continue to strive till you do.
Question. We're gonna start with you, Manny. Does the amount of likes and retweets on something determine if you're going to also participate in it, whether that has little to none,
like
or
retweeting it and favoriting it?
Exactly.
No.
Does it determine, and also 2-part question, does it also determine if you're going to watch it?
No. See, I don't pay, for the most part. Are you talking like solely Twitter or like?
I'm just using Twitter as like
as
the main
base
thing, because Instagram, I don't know. I don't look at the amount of likes on Instagram, and I see something. If it catches my eye, I stop.
Instagram is not a sharing platform in a sense that you're sharing other people's stuff to other people.
Right.
We'll get to Instagram in a second because I have another questions. Just keep going. Fun.
For Twitter, I don't really pay attention too much to that.
You just see something.
If I see it, I like it.
But
even
what
like
makes you stop on a video?
If it catches my eye.
Okay.
And if it is like a friend, then I will like
definitely
I will stop and like look at it. as for like even retweeting or like or favoriting it, I don't really look into that too much. Because let's say I do watch, like I listen to every podcast you guys put out.
Oh, thank you, Pop.
Wow, you
And-
hear that? My heart is full.
Like all of them, but on Twitter, and I'll see you guys post it, but I just don't think about like retweeting all of them. And sometimes I do, I'll favorite it,
Yeah.
but I just don't think about it. Like I'll listen to a podcast, oh, this one's fucking great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I go on Twitter and I see it, but I still scroll by it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah, it just like, and that goes for the most part, everything. Brandon shit, I love it all the time.
Yeah.
Every time it comes up with one, I'm like, I'll let him know in person because I'll be there sometimes when he's posting it. I'm at his house all the time.
Yeah.
And I'll see him post it, and I'm like, "This is fucking great." And then I scroll by.
Yeah.
I don't think about, oh shit, I'm gonna double tap it, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna retweet
Give my friends
it.
exposure or whatever. Yeah.
I never think about that
Yeah.
until the question is asked. Then I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely do it whenever because they're my friend. I'll
Yeah.
retweet it, but sometimes I just don't because I don't think
Yeah,
that
because
far ahead.
again, it's Twitter. The entire TL is super disposable.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever looked at somebody's art who was a friend and just went and scrolled by. Like, I'll like it, I'll comment on it, retweet it, something along those lines. But I've never looked at it and been like, "Ugh," and just kept scrolling like as if I didn't see
Right.
it. I think that's so fucked up. At least in your own head, because you can lie and just be like, oh, I don't know, it just didn't pop up on my timeline. People lie all the
no,
time.
I see stuff. I see everyone's stuff,
Yeah.
and sometimes I just don't retweet it because, like I said, I just don't. I just scroll
Yeah.
by it,
Yeah.
even if I love it.
Yeah. Does the amount of shit like retweets and favorites determine if you're gonna share it yourself?
Yes.
Interesting.
Whether or not it's the sole reason, no.
But it's one of the reasons.
But it definitely plays a factor.
Yeah.
Like if I see somebody, for instance, let's not use close friends as an example, but let's say I see somebody that I know and I've had a couple limited interactions with, and they're posting something up, and it is decent work, but I see it's like really starting to take off or something. I really like, again, you know me, I like supporting like local artists, especially if they have like really good stuff. And so if I see somebody's like kind of showing that hint of like taking off, I'll try to keep the ball rolling for them and throw it out there. So like, let's say somebody who's a videographer put out this like clip and it has like 100 favorites on it and they're from out here. I'll be like, oh shit, this is dope. Like they really seem to have something going for them and they don't have a crazy amount of followers. So it's people who don't know this person interacting with it. So I'm going to keep that going and I'm going to put that out there. And I also know that I'm not alone in a sense that the amount of interactions on a post play a role into whether or not someone's also going to interact with it. And so I'm going to put it out there because I know A, it's someone who's local and I want to support. B, it's good work. And C, because it has a eye-catching amount of interactions on it, I know it'll get more interactions than if I were to repost it and I was the only retweet.
Yeah. I guess for me, like if it just depends on if it catches my eye. I've scrolled past shit that has like 18,000 retweets and fucking 54,000 likes.
And that's a different thing too. Like it doesn't, when it's, you know, shit that's gone viral, that is purely based off of the work.
Yeah.
But then again, if one of my homies has a viral tweet and I don't even think it's that funny, but they have 10,000 retweets, I literally am going to go, hey, everyone, look, like my friend got a viral tweet. And that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying when I retweet it,
Yeah.
basically.
I guess for me, I look at the numbers always, but I don't necessarily let that determine if I'm going to do anything with it or not.
When it comes to close friends, it doesn't for me.
Yeah. I think just in general, for me, it's just kind of like if I think it's funny. I've run past shit where like, I don't fucking know, dude. There was some retweet of this chick who does TikToks who's not fucking funny. And somebody quoted it and said, this is not funny. Like, how is this getting the amount of attention that it's getting? And his had like 18,000 retweets and whatever the fuck. And I was like, that's just giving it more attention. Like as funny as and as much as I agree with you, that's just kind of, and so there's different factors that play into it.
Was it
with
that chick like putting guacamole on her face?
And like she's talking to herself.
Yeah, she put avocado on her face and then she took a chip and then she like wiped it off her face and ate it.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
No,
that
it's
was
just
another
weird-
girl on
That
TikTok
was
who was
Pornhub.
painfully unfunny.
It's just, and people are fucking, they find it funny. And I read the comments and I'm like, oh, you actually find this chick funny. I'm not going to do anything about that. And then especially if somebody quotes it and been like, oh, like they'll say like, this shit ain't funny. And it, for some reason it has 50,000 retweets. I'm like, you're just giving her exposure. There's no point to that. Like, I won't feed into that stuff typically unless it like sets me off of, I don't know. There was a video of like Ben Shapiro talking about the way, I forget, but it's
Listen
like,
here, gang. Rap music is not real music. I don't know. What are you going to tell? My wife is a doctor.
and it was like women and men what's funnier when one of them hits their head if they, it's like if
It's
women.
objectively more funny when a male hits their head. We all know that female are much more fragile, and so we don't actually laugh
That
at
is
that.
literally the fucking video, and that's not bullshit. And I was just like, I was like, this is so stupid. So that caused me to quote
So I
tweet it.
proceeded to quote it and calmly type out.
So the next thing, since I basically said like it just depends on whatever the fuck it is. The next thing is, Manny, when you're on somebody's story, it's kind of another 2-part question because we'll get to one and then I'll ask you the other. Depending on the person, do you just click through it? Depending on how many posts they have, like whatever the case may be.
I think it's circumstantial.
Okay.
Like if they're at a concert, I'm skipping through
Oh
all
my
these
god,
hoes.
yes.
But if it's like, it depends if I'm interested in it. Like
Yeah.
I won't just go ahead like, oh, this person posted a story. I'm just gonna go ahead and tap all these. If they're doing something that let's say if they go on a rant, I'm gonna scroll through all. I'm not gonna listen to the rant.
Now, if the rant's funny and you know the
I
person,
will never know.
well, no. So
If I
love
see
you, Manny.
them in their car and they have their phone out and then they already go, so. And then
I'm similar to that where it's like I'll see like 6, and I'll mention somebody after this if we remember to after the podcast, but I'll see them and they're just like, so this is how, and I'm like, I'll just skip through that shit. But the next person, if it's like a 2-video rant where I know they're fucking funny, I'll watch it. But it's like the stupid rants where they just don't know what they're talking about. And it's just like, it's really an unimportant rant.
right.
I get that. So say for me, I don't know, and I don't care if you skip through the shit that I post or if you actually watch it. But depending on how many little fucking dots are at the top or if they're actually long strips.
Yeah, how many dashes?
Each
represents
long
a
Basically, for
story?
anybody that doesn't know what that is, how many videos they've posted in a row, does that cause you to skip through it or not?
I mean, it depends on, like I said, it depends on what
The person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because if I know you're in traffic and I see you zooming into a car,
Yeah.
I know it's going to be funny because you're just going to trash whoever that was.
Yeah.
But for the most part, when you're ranting, I'll probably just scroll by every now and then.
So rants and concerts. Just
I fucking hate rants
done.
and concerts, man.
And then the other question is people who like what I did recently, and I do this every so often when stuff really catches me off guard or it's like super interesting. When you post someone's post to your story, do you actually click it and go watch what they posted?
Every now and then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I do the same thing.
That for me is so rare because like there literally will be and I'm saying I have no shame in saying this. Someone will post some Instagram post on their Instagram story and they'll be like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I will go to tap on the post because I'm genuinely interested, but I don't tap on it right, so it just goes to the next story and I'm like, up, gone forever.
Never see it.
And I never go back to it. If I don't click it right and it doesn't
first
say
time?
see this post, I am not going back.
Like the plain one that you sent me today?
Yes.
Where they flip upside
that was
down?
Brett who posted
Yes.
that.
And so
I clicked on it out of I click out of 1 in every 30 of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ones that
yeah,
people
yeah.
put up. That one happened to be dope as fuck, and so I shared it with friends.
Like there's somebody that I know that posts up those fucking posts where it's just like it shows a bunch of writing and it's just like, yes, bitch, I relate to this. And it's like, yeah, get you a strong man. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fucking shut the fuck up.
Dude,
Nobody cares.
You know what that brings to mind is like the spectrum of whether or not you're going to interact with your friend's shit actually has the, like, if you like watch Stranger Things, an upside down version of the spectrum where then it gets progressively worse to the point where I have to resist interacting with it because I want to like tell them it's fucking awful. So like there's your shit, you post it and it's just like fucking cream of the crop great and I can't help but interact with it. And then as it progressively gets worse, I want to interact with it less until it hits a point where it reverses the algorithm. And now as it gets even worse, I have to refrain myself from quoting it, being like, "What is wrong with you?"
Like mine is from a single man's point of view. It's like they'll post all this fucking annoying shit, and I'm like clicking through, and right before it clicks to the next person's story where I fuck up, it's like a thirst trap, and I go back, and I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, hold on, wait,
What were you talking about?
hold on, you're really fucking annoying. But this is a thirst trap. And like I'll sit there and stare at it and I'm like, nah, you're too annoying. And then I'll just scroll by. So like there's it's so weird to talk about this shit because there's so many different components.
There's all these dynamics and no one ever talks about them because you're just sitting on your phone by yourself, like not talking to anybody, as all these like components are like spinning like gears in your head.
This is the kind of information that I say, like I have an information overload in my head probably once or twice a day where I'm just like, I'm thinking about too much shit. I'm seeing too much shit. There's too much information. There's too many fucking things I'm listening to, watching, people I'm talking to, relationships I'm trying to manage, family members I'm trying to keep in touch with. What do you mean you're pregnant? What do you mean you broke up? Like, there's so many fucking things that you have to
keeping up with the fucking everybody. Keeping up. Dude, like, oh my god, for like just random fucking off the top of the head.
If anybody doesn't know, Nick gets overwhelmed very, 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 very easily.
Dude, like, speaking of people that like you want to interact with because it's shitty, I was like scrolling through my timeline and this one girl that I've been friends with for a very long time, and I swear to God, I'm probably gonna say this and someone's gonna know what I'm talking about. But it was someone I've been friends with for a very long time, has been posting a lot of videos of her like in front of the camera, like, okay, so, and then I just keep scrolling, right?
I literally know who you're talking.
And hold on, huh? No.
Oh, okay.
It's somebody different. Somebody different.
I know that,
but because there's a point I'm getting to. So I've been scrolling past a lot of their posts because one, it's a video of them talking to the camera, and I honestly couldn't give a fuck less. And two, the fucking description is a text box of like 400 characters. Again, not gonna give a fuck. So I keep scrolling past, right? But this person, I guess, is progressively learning how people don't give a fuck about their posts. And so they do the thing that that will catch at least some attention, which is make like the first sentence in all caps so that at least you have a title to read before you fucking continue scrolling. And so I was like, what the fuck has this person been posting about? Like they put all these videos out. They've not been very active on social media prior. What's up? And one of the posts I scroll past is them talking again with their hands clasped in front of the camera. And then it says like, why like empathy.co is not a pyramid scheme.
What the fuck?
If you have to explain that it's not a pyramid scheme, it's a pyramid scheme. And so all the videos they've been posting has been them explaining their company and what they signed up for and how it's multi-level marketing and like all this shit.
Multi-level marketing.
Like a fucking eye in the middle of the pyramid. Like, and I realized they've been posting fucking pyramid scheme posts this entire time about selling whatever fucking essential oil they have on deck. And that hits that bell for me again where I want to like comment on it and be like, scam. Stop.
What essential oils, dude? These are actually fucking dope and they are really nice to smell.
I bet they smell amazing. Yeah. But I'm sure they don't cure your scoliosis.
That's a gift from my friend.
But like I want to comment on it and just be like either like legitimately be like, this is bullshit, which I have no right to do, or I want to comment on it and just troll the fuck out of them and be like, I put on this cream and now my skin is falling off and I can't remember any word that starts with the letter Q. Like I've been struggling so much. Literally, like I forgot how to do U-turns. Like, please don't buy this product. And so again, hits that little level, and I have to refrain from not commenting on it.
Is there anything that bothers you with, I don't know, anything in that aspect?
Like social media stuff?
Anything that comes to mind randomly?
Not really. Not too much. For the most part, at least for stories and stuff like that, it's mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
That's all it really is. Until something really catches my attention, or I'm going through like a photographer's feed and his story, then I'll actually pay attention. But for the most part, if it's like a life update and they're a friend, I'll know.
Yeah.
I'll know for the most part.
Yeah.
So it's just mindless scrolling.
Yeah.
It's just sifting through all of this dirt just to find one gold nugget and go,
Yeah.
and then continue
And then
sifting.
it's literally that
through
fast, too.
dirt. Yeah, it's
I'll do the nose laugh and that's it.
Yeah. That's what you get.
That's literally it.
That's the vocal equivalence of a like.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that's
And
all it is.
That's about it.
Gentlemen, 2 hours.
Yep.
Do you want to keep going or we're good?
I'm good here.
I'm
I
good.
actually have somewhere to be.
This
so.
was a lot of fucking fun. Thank you for coming on, Manny.
Of course, thanks for having me, guys.
I actually came into this knowing it was going to be like this. Like I knew I was like I love Manny to death, and he has a whole creative field that like he is blossoming in, but I know it's going to be filled with bullshit, and I can't fucking wait.
I think the only thing that I was skeptical of, and this is no bullshit, and I like explained this, I think to Brandon and maybe to Caleb, was I listened to your guys' podcast and I was going to listen to a few episodes because you're typically a more quiet dude.
Yeah.
You
You told me this already
yeah,
too,
yeah,
yeah.
and you put your input. And so when I started to hear you talk more, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now like he's more comfortable in front of the mics. He can put his input. It's fucking normal. Because like in your guys' it's my favorite fucking thing. The second a camera, and I do the same shit actually, I realized, even when I'm sitting by myself, a camera is pointed at you.
I throw
Shut
up
the
gang
fuck
signs.
down.
Oh,
You throw up gang signs. No, but it's just like it's the stuttering and the like. Wait, what was I supposed to say?
Right.
And the BB
Yeah.
that whole thing comes out. So no, I think this worked out fucking beautifully.
Yeah,
it was a lot of
this was
fun.
fucking good.
yeah, it was
Thank you
great.
for bringing the beer. That made it so much more
Yeah,
fun.
I knew it was gonna be bullshit already, and then I pull up and you have my favorite beer, and I'm like, oh no,
I listened to a podcast. I know you guys like Golden Road, so that's the word I went for.
fuck
Fuck yeah.
yes.
Thank you for listening. By the way, I know it's like a lame thing to say, but it's appreciated. It's
no,
cool.
seriously, I can't explain. You know, being a creative content creator, but like the feeling you get when someone just tells you like, yeah, I keep up with what you do. It's like,
Thank you. Really? Like even if somebody just sees something I do and they're just like, "That's cute," I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that feels good." You hear that, bitches? It's cute. And they're like, "No, we have no idea what to talk about." Okay, episode 48.
yep.
I don't know like how I keep up with this, but it's been
It's
nice
the same way that I kept up with it at some
for
point.
a little while.
Yeah.
yeah. And then
So
when I
we'll-
fall
we'll-
off,
I'll
then we
be
just
back
fall
on
off,
it.
and the podcast ends.
Do you guys have anything planned for that 50?
We do.
Yeah.
We can tell you about it. We just don't want to like share it out loud
Right.
because it's gonna be
Makes
fucking
sense.
funny.
Yeah.
Unless you don't want to share it.
no, well,
Close
people will see.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening to episode 48 of the Nick and Tub podcast. I don't think there's really anything other than what we do in the intro.
I
So
don't know, if you like it, then like it. If you like it, then tell us. I don't know. Something along those lines.
leave comments and likes and favorites and retweets and reposts and story shares and tell us on Apple
See, these are the
Podcasts.
rants I'm talking about.
All right.
my small ego and let it grow. Please feed my self-esteem.
we have big plans coming up and we're excited to share them with you guys. You'll see them in about 2 weeks.
And we're getting some solid guests coming up too.
Yeah, we actually have shit planned.
Yeah, we do.
It feels good.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. You guys wouldn't know any
Manny,
different.
thank you for
Good shit.
coming on last fucking minute. You have been a guest that I wanted to have on, but they are just like, dude, okay, before we sign off, there are times where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, who the fuck? Like, we have a list of people, but I never look at the list. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
we
we've
never
run
check the
through
list.
everybody.
we don't know who we're going to get on. It's just going to do us two.
We've had 35 guests. How do we not know? And then I'm just like, Manny, he's fucking sitting right there.
Hey guys, can I come on? Who are we going to get on? We've ran through everyone we care about.
Nobody there, AV.
Thank you guys for listening. And until next time, like I always say, go fuck yourself.
Bye, we love you. Cue the music.
Adios.
1, 2, 3. One.
Fucking hit it. I know you can do it.